Chapter 544. That's right. Not to mention the young master. Even if the young master doesn't think so, what about others, such as your mother-in-law and Lan Wanru? Can't wait to find fault with you and worsen the conflict between you and the young master. Tang Bao nodded and didn't say anything else. The two of them took a shower and went to bed. Wan Malay took out her phone and said, "Let me show you something." "What?" Why isn't there such news anymore? I saw it this morning." Wan Malay searched on her phone, but she couldn't find the news she had seen before. "What news? Is it about me?" "No, it's about Gu Linshin. It said that Gu Linshin and his niece were having an affair." Tang Bao was stunned for a long time. She remembered that Luo Luoli came to her and wanted to frame Gu Linshin. At that time, it was just for show. How did it end up in the headlines now? Could it be that the two of them really had that kind of relationship? It couldn't have been real, could it? Luo Luoli didn't tell Tang Bao that she and Gu Linshin weren't related. So Tang Bao was a little confused. The two of them can't really be like that, right? I'm not too sure about that. But I think Gu Linshin treats Luo Luoli differently from others. If it's true, then Gu Linshin is really a beast. He didn't even let go of his own niece. Is there no other woman? There's so many women in the world. Why does he have to find his own niece? Wan Malay said in disgust. But Luo Luoli doesn't seem to be in a good mood. It's as if she was hit by something. She's no different from before, Tang Bao said. Then it's fake. Wan Malay guessed. I don't know if it's true or not, but one thing is certain. What? Gu Linshin still has feelings for you. What the hell? When did I have an old relationship with Gu Linshin? It's because of his old feelings for you. Otherwise, why would he come to the Imperial Palace to say those words? Isn't it to sow discord so that I can fly away with you? He was really bold. Wasn't he afraid that the young emperor would take revenge on him after he regained his memory? We should let the young master take revenge on him. Tang Bao looked at Wan Malay with a look of disdain and asked curiously, "Don't you feel bad if they take revenge on you? Why should my heart ache? Someone used to fall out with me because of Gu Linshin." Tang Bao mercilessly exposed the past. "Is there? Why can't I remember?" "There's no such thing." Wan Malay refused to admit it. "You haven't forgotten about your infatuation with him, have you?" "I was confused by his appearance for a while." Wan Malay thought about it now. She was really stupid at that time. She actually fell out with Tang Bao because of Gu Linshin. Fortunately, Tang Bao didn't argue with her. Otherwise, she would regret losing such a good friend for the rest of her life. Tang Bao lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling in a daze. "Are you going to the office tomorrow?" Wan Malay asked. "Yes, I have to go to work seriously every day. I'm not the same person as before," Tang Bao said with a little disappointment. However, no matter how beautiful her words were, she woke up late the next morning. He was called by Wan Malay many times before he sat up on the bed. Wan Malay felt that her throat was so tired that it was about to spit out fire. It wasn't easy to wake him up. If this is what you call working seriously, then what are you like when you're not working seriously? Wan Malay asked. There were only 4 words in Tang Bao's mind now. He was speechless. Could it be that her physical strength hadn't recovered yet? How much energy had she been drained by Di Hao Ian? So if it had continued yesterday, she was afraid that she would have died. Di Hao Ian didn't appear for the entire night. Tang Bao was worried that Di Hao Ian would do something to her when he appeared. It seemed that she was overthinking. She thought too highly of herself and was too sentimental. When they were eating at the breakfast table, Wan Malay said, "Last night, young Master Di was at the palace and didn't go anywhere." Tang Bao paused in the middle of eating breakfast and glanced at her. "Your relationship with He Ju is flying fast now." "What do you mean by flying fast?" "He and I are friends, and isn't this all for you? Don't be so unkind." "Friends? Can you not lie through your teeth?" "He Ju already told me that he will treat you well. You don't have to worry about anything and just have a good relationship with him. Why don't you think about yourself? You haven't been in a relationship until now, and you still have the cheek to reject others. Do you want to wait until you are old? Will there still be anyone who wants you then? Don't be greedy. He Ju is very loyal, and even more so when it comes to relationships. If you miss this village, there won't be another shop. You don't have to say so much. I haven't said anything yet." Wan Malay was speechless. Tang Bao suddenly thought about something very seriously. His expression became serious. Wang Malay was stunned by her. What's wrong? You'd better not talk to He Ju. Wasn't this a little too fast? Just tell him that if you don't help me deal with Di Haoyan and Tang Bao, I won't be with you. Wang Malay was shocked by Tang Bao's shamelessness and took a step back. You're good. SOSO. Third in the world. After learning from Yu Songhuan that Tang Bao had left the palace, Lan Wanru's mood was unprecedentedly happy. Li Yuhuai saw that she was in a good mood early in the morning and said, if she gets married, it will be terrible. Won't she stay in the palace every day and not go home? Annie, what are you talking about? Lan Wanru said shyly and embarrassedly. Am I wrong? Look at the situation now. Even if you're not between Di Haoyan and Tang Bao, it won't be good. If you really have feelings for each other, others can't get involved. This means that you and Di Haoyan are the most fated. Maybe Tang Bao's departure is only temporary. Then you should let her leave forever. Lan Wanru looked at Li Yuhuai. She understood the meaning in her eyes very well. She nodded in agreement. In her opinion, Li Yuhuai was right. When she was around, Tang Bao felt that she was an obstacle. But after she left, the two of them still couldn't be good. And it was getting worse. This was exactly what she needed, what she wanted to see. So, Tang Bao, why are you trying so hard? In the end, it was just drawing water with a bamboo basket. After Tang Bao left the palace, she didn't think about going back. At least, she definitely couldn't go back while Di Haoyan lost his memory. She didn't go back, and Di Haoyan didn't appear again. Chapter 545. He told her about Di Haoyan's whereabouts, or that Lan Wanru was living in the castle again. Tang Bao remembered that she cried that night. She cried herself to sleep. Anyway, when she woke up, her pillow was wet. She didn't know what she was crying about. Was she crying about her lost marriage or her grievances? In short, she was very upset, so upset that she wanted to die. Sometimes she would think about it. Even in her dreams, she dreamed of Di Haoyan and Lan Wanru sleeping on the same bed and hugging each other. Lan Wanru took her place. She endured Di Haoyan's gentleness. When she woke up, she broke down and cried again. When she woke up, she felt that her behavior was a little ridiculous. Wasn't she just letting things develop on their own? On the day she left the palace, she could think of the possibility that Lan Wanru would live in the palace. What was there to be sad about now? Hadn't she been hurt enough? Why should she care about everything that didn't belong to her? Perhaps the next time Di Haoyan appeared, he would throw a divorce agreement in front of her. Tang Bao pushed open the door of Yu Lianlian's office. Yu Lianlian looked up from inside. What's wrong? Let's have dinner after work. I have to meet a client. I can't go. The vice president of Chongqing Technology Company? Yu Lianlian smiled. You did your homework well. Of course. I'm a decent person in charge of a company now. Okay? I'll go too, Tang Bao said. Are you sure? Yes. As the person in charge of a company, not only do I have to work in an office, but I also have to know how to socialize. Compared to the bosses of other companies, it's much more comfortable. She's just a vice president. You're giving her too much face. Then let her call the boss too. Just say that I'm treating. Then they went to the Western restaurant and sat down. Tang Bao's heart was boiling. She thought that the vice president of the company was a man. It turned out that it was a woman. And the boss who was called was a man. He was in his early 40s, dressed in a suit and leather shoes. His manner of speech and behavior were not bad. Yu Lianlian raised her glass and said, President Wang, Vice President Ding, here's to you. Then, the four of them clinked their glasses and drank. After putting down the wine glass, CEO Wang looked at Tang Bao and said with a smile, I've always wanted to meet CEO Tang, but I'm always busy. How come you have time to treat me to a meal today? I'm very surprised, but also very happy. Yes, I used to be very busy. Tang Bao laughed. But I won't be so busy in the future. We can have a meal together or something. In the past, I've heard that President Wang is young and promising and started from scratch. I've always admired you. CEO Wang felt very comfortable after hearing that. He couldn't help but smile. You flatter me, CEO Tang. I'll treat you next time. Sure. Yu Yinlian had a decent smile on her face, but her heart was not what it looked like. On the way back, Yu Yinlian said, "Are you going to have a meal with CEO Wang alone next time?" At the dinner table, he said he was treating you, not us. Do businessmen like to play word games so much? For people who do business, they know everything, just like the young emperor. Do you think he knows everything? Yu Yinlian asked. Tang Bao nodded. In front of the young master, CEO Wang is just a kindergarten class. So, it wasn't so easy to be the king of the city. Tang Bao sighed and said, "It's okay, I can handle it. Besides, maybe he's just being polite. Don't take it seriously." Tang Bao said that, but CEO Wang really took it seriously. In less than 2 days, CEO Wang called to treat him to a meal. Tang Bao agreed. She wanted to know what it was like to socialize. Besides, she had to be the head of the family in the future and face all kinds of people. She couldn't avoid them. When they arrived at the restaurant, Tang Bao was stunned. "What's wrong, CEO Tang?" CEO Wang couldn't help but ask. "There's no need to invite me to such a high-end place. Just find a random one," Tang Bao said with a smile. It's not too much to treat CEO Tang to a meal, no matter how high-end it is. Let's go in. Tang Bao was helpless. He couldn't just turn around and leave. And why did he have to leave like he was running away? Was it because this was the place where Di Hao Yin used to bring her to eat? Could it be that she couldn't go to the places that Di Hao Yin brought her to? That didn't make sense. They didn't go to the private room, but to the seats outside. After sitting down, the waiter brought the menu over. Tang Bao opened the menu and looked at the dishes on it. She was very familiar with them. Once, when she was in the company, Di Hao Yin even specially asked this place to deliver food to him. It was because she liked to eat. Looking at the dishes that she was familiar with, she was a little dazed. CEO Tang, just order whatever you like, CEO Wang said politely. You're too polite. Tang Bao came back to his senses and smiled. If you feel embarrassed, you can treat me again next time. Tang Bao thought that there was no end to this, right? This person wouldn't have any thoughts about her, right? Please don't. Tang Bao casually ordered a few dishes. After the waiter took away the menu, the two of them talked as they waited. CEO Tang, you don't seem to be married yet. You must have a boyfriend, right? Tang Bao knew that she and Di Hao Yin were married. The outside world didn't know about it. No, she didn't have a boyfriend. She got married directly. You're so beautiful. Why don't you have a boyfriend? Aren't you being too demanding? Isn't that normal? The prettier the girl, the harder it is to find. CEO Wang laughed. You're really an interesting person, but this is good. You still have the chance to choose the person you like. But I can't. What's wrong with you? My wife and I are married. We've never had any feelings for each other. Even if I see a girl I like, I can't do anything. I'm afraid this is the so-called responsibility of a man. Tang Bao thought to himself, what a beautiful statement. His character had been raised, and he had degraded his wife. Looking at CEO Wang's age, he must have been married for a long time. If he didn't have any feelings for his wife for so many years, could it be that he was too heartless? Then why didn't he get a divorce? For benefits? Tang Bao thought of the relationship between herself and Di Haotian. She did it for benefits, while Di Haotian did it for gratitude. Would Di Haotian say the same thing when he faced Lan Wanru? And as his wife, how could she not feel aggrieved? Your ring is very beautiful. Tang Bao came back to his senses and looked at the ring on his finger. It's an ornament. Girls nowadays like to wear it. As he said that, he held the ring with his other hand and pretended as if nothing had happened. Then CEO Wang wanted to say something, but he suddenly stopped talking. Tang Bao looked at CEO Wang stunned. He looked behind her and turned his head. Chapter 546. How long had it been since she last saw Di Haotian? It had been half a month. She didn't expect to meet him at a restaurant. Tang Bao's gaze fell on He Ju behind Di Haotian and then looked away. Mr. Wang, who was sitting opposite him, immediately stood up and walked towards Di Haotian. Young master, what a coincidence to meet you here, Mr. Wang said respectfully. It's not strange. After all, your taste is similar to mine. Di Haotian's voice was undetectable. However, he was cold. That was for sure. He gave people the feeling that he was cold and noble. He was not easy to get close to. Tang Bao, who was sitting in his seat, stiffened his back. He felt that Di Hao Ian's words were sarcastic. If young master doesn't mind, let's eat together. Our dishes haven't been served yet. Young master, please order some more. It's my honor to be able to treat young master to a meal, Mr. Wang said. On one hand, Tang Bao felt that Di Hao Ian would not eat with them. On the other hand, he was worried that Di Hao Ian would sit at the same table as them. However, the former was more likely to be the case. Even if Di Hao Ian wanted to eat Mr. Wang's food, she and Di Hao Ian had already fallen out to this extent. It would be best not to eat with him. Most importantly, Di Hao Ian did not care. However, Tang Bao was wrong. Di Hao Ian chose the latter. He sat down directly next to her. Tang Bao looked calm on the surface, but his heart was turbulent. What did Di Hao Ian mean? Eating at the same table? Young master, why don't we change to a bigger seat? Mr. Wang asked. No need. Di Hao Ian's tone was indifferent. Mr. Wang sat down and called the waiter to bring the menu. Di Hao Ian looked at the menu and casually ordered a few dishes. It was very casual. However, Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. It skipped a beat. The dishes Di Hao Ian ordered were actually her favorite dishes. Didn't he lose his memory? How could he remember? Could it be that he himself didn't know? But why did he want to share a table with her? Wasn't he afraid that the sickly Lan Wanru would feel uncomfortable? Was this unintentional, or was it intentional? It was definitely intentional. Presumably, Di Hao Ian and Lan Wanru had long been inseparable in the castle, yet he was still so close to her. If this wasn't a humiliation, then what was? Tang Bao's expression suddenly turned ugly. President Tang, this is the young master of T Group, President Wang introduced. In fact, how could CEO Wang not know about the relationship between the Tang Bao and the young master T? That day during dinner, he said that the Tang Bao was busy and did not have time to eat. In fact, everyone was well aware of the truth. It was not that Tang Bao was busy, but he knew about the tacit relationship between Tang Bao and Di Hao Ian. However, he later heard some news that there seemed to be some estrangement between the Tang Bao and T. It had to be said that he did not care about the Tang Bao's feelings when eating with Di Hao Ian. Who doesn't know the king of D City? There's no need for introductions, Tang Bao said coldly. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. President Wang smiled. That's true. It's really unfair for the king of D City to sit with the person in charge of a small company like me. Tang Bao laughed openly and secretly. Di Hao Ian's face was cold and stiff. His black eyes were cold, and there was no other expression. Young master, don't you think you're degrading yourself? I'm quite embarrassed. Tang Bao seemed to be not satisfied and added another sentence. When Di Hao Ian turned his face, those sharp black eyes made Tang Bao's little heart tremble. He picked up the teacup in front of him and drank tea. He wisely shut his mouth. Why aren't you saying anything? Di Hao Ian's voice was dangerous. Thirsty. Tang Bao cleared his throat and said. The dishes were served quickly. Tang Bao ate the dishes and picked up the few plates that Di Hao Ian ordered. His chopsticks and Di Hao Ian's chopsticks were mixed together. Although you ordered it, it's a coincidence that they're all my favorite dishes. Tang Bao asked with a teasing look. Young master, you didn't order them for me on purpose, did you? Di Hao Ian's face was expressionless, but his heart was stunned. She liked them? He had just ordered them casually. How could they all be her favorite dishes? In front of him, she dared to have any thoughts. You like to eat? What don't you like? Flirting outside is also something you like. I'm socializing. Tang Bao was so angry that his face turned red. The 3 or 4 people opposite him all had fearful expressions. Originally, there was nothing between him and Tang Bao, but after being said this, he felt that he had done something that made Di Hao Ian unhappy. And the interaction between Di Hao Ian and Tang Bao was like a couple quarreling. Is this your explanation again? Di Hao Ian's face was cold. Tang Bao felt that his lungs were about to explode from anger. He glared at Di Hao Ian coldly. Last time, he had not recovered from being tortured by him for 2 days. Not only did he not apologize, but he even forced her again. Did he think that she was so easy to bully? Tang Bao took a deep breath in his heart and said, You're wrong. This is not an explanation. This is an excuse. An excuse. I use the excuse of socializing to hook up with a customer. Are you satisfied? After saying that, Tang Bao suddenly felt the cold air around him suddenly drop. Looking at Di Hao Ian's expression, it was extremely frightening. The anger in Tang Bao's heart could not help but be suppressed, and he immediately became defensive. This was a restaurant. What was Di Hao Ian trying to do? Tang Bao could not help but take a step back. Di Hao Ian suddenly laughed instead of being angry. He suddenly reached out and clamped Tang Bao's beautiful chin and exerted force. Ugh! Tang Bao felt that his chin was about to be crushed, and his beautiful eyebrows could not help but furrow. Then you can eat slowly here. After saying that, Di Hao Ian stood up and left. He did not even eat elsewhere in the restaurant. Di Hao Ian's tall figure disappeared, but Tang Bao did not come back to her senses. There was a lingering pain in his chin. His heart was heavy and depressed. Wasn't this what she wanted? If she wanted something else, Di Hao Ian would not give it to her. However, the look in Di Hao Ian's eyes at the end was very scary, and it made her feel uneasy. The next morning, not long after Tang Bao entered the office door was opened. Yu Lianlian did not care about anything else and rushed in. Tang Bao and Wan Malay saw Yu Lianlian rushing in. Tang Bao asked, "What's wrong? Do you remember that you told me yesterday that you had a good meal with Chongqing's President Wang?" Yu Lianlian asked. "Yes. I had no pressure at all when I entertained the guests. I want to entertain them very seriously." Tang Bao nodded and said, "Then you were too serious." "What do you mean? I told you about the internal news from T. Don't go and settle the score with Di Hao Ian. Otherwise, Zhou Zhishan, who leaked the news, will be finished." Tang Bao saw Yu Lianlian's nervous face and felt that this was a serious matter. So he asked, "What news?" T just came out with a plan to acquire Chongsheng and Kuchun. Tang Bao was stunned for a moment and thought that he had misheard. "What did you say? Chongsheng and who?" "And your company." Kuchun was the name of the company that Tang Qishan left behind. Chapter 547. However, she came back to her senses before Tang Bao did. "Why does he want to buy our company? What does young Master D want to do?" Tang Bao was stunned. Yu Lianlian looked at Tang Bao and said, "So I want to ask you, did something happen when you had dinner with CEO Wang yesterday? Otherwise, why would it be so serious?" Tang Bao thought of the look in Di Hao Ian's eyes before he left yesterday and understood what she meant. For someone like Di Hao Ian, who could do whatever he wanted, how could he just turn around and leave if you provoked him? Tang Bao sat weakly on the sofa with his hands covering his face. "What really happened? Didn't you say that everything was fine?" Yu Lianlian guessed a little from Tang Bao's expression. "Yesterday, when I had dinner with CEO Wang, I bumped into Di Hao Ian. CEO Wang invited Di Hao Ian to eat together, and Di Hao Ian agreed. Then, when we were eating together, I said a few words that weren't very nice. As one could imagine, her unpleasant words had angered Di Hao Ian." Wan Malay asked Yu Lianlian, "This should be scare Tang Bao, right? Isn't this too serious?" Then, she ran to Tang Bao and asked, "What exactly did you say to make young Master D so angry that he wants to buy your company? You're awesome too." Tang Bao lowered his head deeply, wishing that he could crawl into the cracks of the sofa. His annoyance was very strong. "If it wasn't true, Zhou Zhishan wouldn't have come to tell me," Yu Lianlian said. "Di Hao Ian wouldn't be scaring me. His legend is not a legend. It's all true." Tang Bao suddenly raised his head and looked at Yu Lianlian. "If I want to beg Di Hao Ian, do I have to wait for this news to come out? By tomorrow at the latest, the shares of the two companies will be squeezed by T at the same time, and the company's shares will split. You have to know that the D family has the guts to do so. It's like a big fish eating a small fish. The main thing is how big the big fish's mouth is. Swallowing up two companies, the D family, is more than enough." Yu Lianlian analyzed. "Will it be too late?" Wan Malay asked. "If you succeed, of course you'll be fine," Yu Lianlian said. An uncertain expression appeared on Tang Bao's face. However, her eyes were resolute. The company was left to her by Tang Qishan. How could she lose it? Di Haoyan was really merciless and cruel to her. I will make preparations for your success, Yu Yinlian said. After leaving the office, Tang Bao sat on the sofa without moving. It was as if he was frozen in place. Wan Malay was also anxious for her. However, the words that came out of her mouth were still comforting. It's okay. I think the young emperor must have done this on purpose so that you can beg him. When the time comes, you can beg him. It's no big deal. It'll be fine after the rain. I really didn't expect him to treat me like this. Is there anything more heartless than this? Tang Bao asked with heartache. He really doesn't care at all after losing his memory. He's so cold and unfamiliar that it scares me. If it was in the past, she could still be presumptuous. After all, Di Haoyan wouldn't really do anything to her. But now she didn't dare. She didn't dare at all. He couldn't even test her. He was so ruthless. Maybe the young emperor felt that you shouldn't have left the castle for so long. You said something to provoke him. Wan Malay stopped talking. Tang Bao smiled helplessly. In fact, she wanted to cry more. Not only have I harmed myself now, but I've also harmed other people's companies. Then you can't speak up for Changsheng. If you do, the young emperor will be even angrier. When that time comes, your chances of saving your own company will be even slimmer. Wan Malay reminded her. Then how can I not protect it if there's a chance? Changsheng didn't do anything to let me down. He's even an old client of our company. Tang Bao stood up angrily. She couldn't suppress the anger in her heart. I hate Di Haoyan to death. He's so vicious and merciless. Wan Malay was silent. This was something that everyone knew, but there was no other way. The strong were the kings. Just as Yu Yinlian said, things would still happen. The company's shares were in turmoil. Even their old clients refused to cooperate with their company, and they couldn't find new clients. Di Haoyan was forcing them. When they were at their wits' end, he forced them to buy over with the least amount of money. He was really amazing. Tang Bao believed that as long as Di Haoyan said a word, everyone would listen to him. They wouldn't dare to disobey him. Tang Bao didn't go to tea to look for Di Haoyan. Going to tea, was he going to do it professionally? She didn't have the eloquence to do it professionally. The only thing she could rely on was the affection in her marriage. Therefore, Tang Bao went to the castle on time. When she went in, no one stopped her. Tang Bao was surprised. Then, she understood that Di Haoyan really wanted her to beg him. However, whether it would be effective or not still depended on Di Haoyan's intentions. Tang Bao entered the castle uneasily. After entering the hall, she stood at the entrance of the dining room and saw Di Haoyan eating, as well as Lan Wanru in the seat that used to belong to her. They really looked like a married couple. They should be living the life of a married couple. So what if her heart was torn apart? Was she going to point at Di Haoyan and question him for not keeping his promise? In Di Haoyan's eyes, she probably didn't have that right anymore. Therefore, Tang Bao suppressed the pain in her heart, raised her eyes, and looked firmly at Di Haoyan. She said, "Can I talk to you alone?" Di Haoyan continued eating as if he didn't see Tang Bao or hear what Tang Bao said. Tang Bao only saw indifference on Di Haoyan's face and the mockery in Lan Wanru's eyes. "I'll wait for you in the hall." After Tang Bao finished speaking, she turned around and was about to leave. "Stop," Di Haoyan said. Tang Bao frowned with her back, facing him. He ignored her when she spoke just now, but now he ordered her. What did he mean? Tang Bao turned around and looked at him. "Do you want to talk to me?" However, Di Haoyan wasn't looking at her. Instead, he looked at Lan Wanru and said, "You're the hostess of this place now. What do you think?" Tang Bao felt as if her heart had been pricked by a needle. She couldn't help but tighten her chest and almost couldn't breathe. Lan Wanru was a smart person. He understood and was overjoyed. Di Haoyan had never said that before. She was the hostess of this place. What did that mean? Was he going to marry her? Noticing Di Haoyan's sharp gaze, Lan Wanru immediately suppressed the joy in his heart and said to Tang Bao, "Go, you're a guest." "Tang Bao, you haven't eaten yet, right? Come and eat." Then he instructed Zhongli, "Go and get Tang Bao some cutlery." Zhongli was so angry that he wanted to slap Lan Wanru's face. No one could stand such an obvious insult. Chapter 548. I'm really hungry, so please help me get the cutlery, Tang Bao said as if nothing had happened. It wasn't that she didn't notice Di Hao Ian's sharp gaze. She almost couldn't maintain her arrogance under this gaze. It was a little difficult for her to maintain it. Zhongli had to get the cutlery and then respectfully placed it in front of Tang Bao. Thank you, Tang Bao said. Zhongli thought to himself, do you really think of yourself as a guest? Tang Bao raised his chopsticks and ate. To be honest, the food in the castle had always been exquisite and delicious. She was used to eating it. When she first arrived at the Tang family's house, she was a little unaccustomed to the food. Now that she had food to eat again, she tried to ignore the other people at the table. Besides, was it okay for her not to eat? She came here to beg Di Hao Ian. If Di Hao Ian wanted to insult her, she could only endure it. Perhaps this was just the beginning. If she couldn't stand this, how could she beg in the future? Di Hao Ian thought that Tang Bao would resist. This was beyond his expectations, but it made his face even colder and more emotionless. Tang Bao ate 2 bowls of rice, more than twice as much as Lan Wanru, not to mention the many dishes. It was like a storm that had just been released. Lan Wanru was stunned. He thought that he could use this opportunity to humiliate Tang Bao, but he didn't expect that she didn't take it seriously at all. Sure enough, this was what a scheming person would do. After the meal, Di Hao Ian got up and left the dining room. Tang Bao saw this and wanted to follow him. However, Lan Wanru walked to Di Hao Ian 1 step ahead of her and said, Brother Hao Ian, shall I accompany you for a walk? Okay. Then the 2 of them walked out of the hall. Tang Bao stood in the hall and watched the 2 of them leave. He couldn't help but be lost in thought, and his heart felt empty. She wanted to fill that emptiness by herself, but her ability was limited. Actually, she was a little full and wanted to go out for a walk. However, there were some things that would benefit him if he didn't see them, because she knew that even though he seemed heartless, he was actually more affectionate. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to stand the sight of the couple. Young madam, Zhongli stood behind her. Don't tell me anything about Di Hao Ian, the castle, or Lan Wanru. Tang Bao cut her off. Was she already this scared? Was he afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it? Yes, I won't. Young madam, how have you been? Zhongli asked. Sure, there's food, a place to stay, and a company. What's wrong with that? Tang Bao said calmly. Zhongli did not know what to say. She felt sorry for Tang Bao. The castle was huge, and Tang Bao walked around the castle. Looking at the castle that he had not been to for a long time, he felt a little unfamiliar. Would she forget about this place after a while? Have you forgotten Di Hao Ian? Would she? To be honest, the day she walked out of the castle, she did not expect that she would come back again for such a reason. It was really ridiculous that she was so resolute. More than an hour had passed since Di Hao Ian and Lan Wanru entered the hall. Tang Bao immediately walked up to Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian, I want to talk to you. She would not ask if he had time. If she did, it would definitely give Di Hao Ian a chance to say no time. But if she didn't ask, wouldn't Di Hao Ian say it? No time. She went upstairs as she spoke. Tang Bao followed behind and asked, Then when do you have time? In a week. Tang Bao was stunned. With Di Hao Ian's swift and decisive actions, there was no need to wait until then. Her company would be gone. Di Hao Ian, do you have to treat me like this? I apologize for what I said that day. I said those words out of anger. How could I be like that? If you don't believe me, you can ask Yulian Lian. Tang Bao hurriedly explained. See the guest out. Di Hao Ian did not stop walking and ordered without looking back. Tang Bao wanted to chase after him, but Lan Wanru stopped him in front. Tang Bao could only watch Di Hao Ian walk away and disappear. Lan Wanru looked at Tang Bao proudly and asked, How did the dinner taste today? Is it still the same as before? Tang Bao understood what he meant. Tang Bao, you also have a day like this? Have you seen reality clearly? Tang Bao looked at her coldly and did not speak. You can wait for Brother Hao Ian to give you a divorce certificate. He said he's going to give you a status? Tang Bao asked, his heart beating wildly. He did. Tang Bao clenched his back molars, as if trying to suppress the pain in his heart. After a long time, he said, Then congratulations. After saying that, Tang Bao turned and left. She felt that after hearing Lan Wanru say that Di Hao Ian would give her a status, she got into the car and left the castle like a ghost. She did not need to walk. Instead, she sat in the car and looked out the car window. That was even more like a ghost. She did not know how she returned to the Tang family. She stood outside the villa and looked at the street lights in the distance in a daze. Although the cold of spring had passed, the wind at night was still chilly and made her shiver. As she shivered, tears fell down her face. This was the humiliation and sadness she received after going to the castle. But she knew that she still had to go tomorrow. Lan Wanru gently carried supper into Di Hao Ian's study. Regardless of whether she entered Di Hao Ian's room or study, she had a knock on the door first. She felt that no one would dare to barge into Di Hao Ian's door, not even Tang Bao. She wouldn't be a woman who didn't follow the rules. She had to let Di Hao Ian feel that she was virtuous and gentle. "Brother Hao Ian, I asked the kitchen to make some food for you." Lan Wanru put the supper on the coffee table. Di Hao Ian's gaze did not move away from the computer, but when Lan Wanru approached, he quietly closed the computer. He looked at Lan Wanru and said, "It's so late. Why aren't you sleeping?" "It's okay. I'm much better now. I feel fine even if I don't take medicine." Lan Wanru had a gentle smile on his face. He thought of something and asked, "Brother Hao Ian, don't be angry with Tang Bao. I think that Tang Bao didn't mean what he said." Di Hao Ian's black eyes looked straight ahead. He did not say anything, and no one could tell what he was thinking. "But there's one thing that I find strange. Since Brother Hao Ian doesn't like her so much, why don't you divorce her? That way, you won't get angry when you see her." Lan Wanru said considerately. Di Hao Ian's black eyes turned slightly and looked at Lan Wanru. That sharp glint almost made Lan Wanru's gentle face collapse. Chapter 549. Di Hao Ian did not speak. His thin lips were pursed coldly, and his eyes were unfathomable. After a long time, he said, "It's too late. Go to bed early." Lan Wanru smiled gently and said meekly, "Okay, I'll go to bed now. Brother Hao Ian, go to bed early too." Di Hao Ian closed his eyes as a response. Lan Wanru stood up and left the study. The huge study quieted down. In a place where Di Hao Ian was, if he did not say a word, it would be unusually quiet. There was a kind of coldness and solemnity. From the information he received, Tang Bao's betrayal was obvious to all. What he heard and what he saw were all so. Such a woman should not be kept. He should have abandoned her long ago and divorced her. Yu Sunghuan had mentioned this to him, and Lan Wanru had also told him that according to normal logic, divorce was the only way. However, when he thought of the word divorce, his heart felt uncomfortable for no reason. It was very uncomfortable. He felt as if someone was pinching his heart, making him congeal blood, then suddenly release it and tighten it again. Why couldn't he divorce Tang Bao? Why did he feel so uncomfortable? So many people advised him to divorce, but no matter how cold he and Tang Bao were, he had never thought of divorce. He lived in the castle every day, but he felt very empty. Even if Lan Wanru was there, it was still the same. However, after Tang Bao appeared at night, that emptiness turned into indifference filled with anger. Even if it was indifference, it was not empty anymore. Di Hao Ian thought of Tang Bao's pleading and felt a wave of relief and joy in his heart. He thought that she was so capable that she couldn't take it anymore and came to plead for leniency. Wasn't she very talkative that day in a restaurant? Was she in a hurry to explain? What did she do earlier? It was easy for him to do whatever he wanted. So, don't provoke him. The next day, Tang Bao went to the castle again. As usual, they ate at the same table. When Di Hao Ian left the restaurant, he stopped him and stood in front of him. Di Hao Ian was so tall that she had to look up at him. Her face was very small, very white, and very tender. Her cheeks were flushed from having a meal, like a delicate and pure peach blossom. Di Hao Ian looked down at her with her big black and white eyes. He was dazzled by her facial features and demeanor. His lower abdomen also twitched. "Can we have a chat? I just need a little bit of time." Tang Bao frowned and spoke in a low voice. As long as Di Hao Ian was willing to let go of her company, She was willing to lower herself to the ground. During the day, there was no peace in the company, almost to the point of bankruptcy. As the person in charge, one could imagine the pressure on her shoulders. She was very tired, but she couldn't ignore it. If this drags on, the company will become tease. Moreover, Di Haoyin didn't even have to do anything, and he was already defeated. In Yu Lianlian's words, Zhou Jixin wanted to help Kuchun, but he also wanted a hand over the perfect proposal to Di Haoyin. Otherwise, he would be in trouble. Di Haoyin just looked at Tang Bao. He didn't say anything, and he didn't move. Lan Wanru couldn't help but interrupt. Tang Bao, you can't make things difficult for Brother Haoyin like this. If Brother Haoyin wants to talk to you, he will definitely talk to you. Why are you pestering him like this? Lan Wanru naturally knew why Tang Bao kept begging Di Haoyin. It was because Ti wanted to acquire Kuchun. How could she not be proud of such a satisfying thing? Tang Bao looked at Lan Wanru coldly. She didn't know what this had to do with her. Why was she putting on an act? She looked at Di Haoyin again and said, Can you be merciful? My father left the company to me. I can't lose it. Can you? You can punish me any way you want. I'm willing to accept it, but not this. Since it's a punishment, of course it's something you can't accept. Otherwise, what's the point? Di Haoyin asked cruelly. Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. As long as he was this ruthless. But when it really came to this, she was still shocked. Di Haoyin walked in front of her. His aura was so strong that it hurt her face. On the third day, Tang Bao didn't dare to go back to the company. She didn't have the face, and she didn't have the heart. She thought about how to plead with Di Haoyin. It was useless to go to the castle. Instead, because of Lan Wanru, she couldn't do anything. At noon, Wan Malay called Hiju. Have you eaten? Do you like me that much? Wan Malay spat out the tea in her mouth. Don't be embarrassed. Wan Malay muttered in her stomach. Embarrass my ass. How dare you say it out loud? Are you in tea now? The young master is eating outside. I see. Can you tell me where to eat? Sure. Don't you need to ask the reason? As long as we know it, including the fact that you like me. I called you because of Tang Bao. Wan Malay was unhappy. Are you sure I didn't give you a chance to call me? Wan Malay gritted her teeth, and her face turned red. One will be influenced by others. The people who followed the young master weren't good people either. Hiju didn't hide anything and directly told Tang Bao where Di Haoyin was eating. Then, Wan Malay reported it to Tang Bao as if she had completed a mission. Tang Bao then took a taxi and went directly to Di Haoyin's place. Di Haoyin was eating alone in a luxurious private room. He had a noble and elegant temperament and was enjoying life with high quality. Not long after, she heard a familiar voice outside. There was a knock on the door, and Hiju walked in. Young master, young madam is here. I don't want to see her. He didn't even raise his head. Tang Bao, who heard it from behind, immediately rushed in. Di Haoyin, it's rare for us to meet so coincidentally. I'm just here to say hello. You don't have to be so heartless, right? Di Haoyin's face was cold and stiff. He didn't say anything. Hiju observed his expression before silently leaving and closing the door. Tang Bao sat down opposite Di Haoyin. Di Haoyin looked up. When their eyes met, Tang Bao's face pulled a smile. Di Haoyin, I haven't eaten either. Do you mind if we eat together? You're begging me in a different way? I think you should go to the castle again. Maybe I'll agree. Di Haoyin suggested uncertainly. Then I'll go again tonight. Tang Bao didn't mind making 2 more trips as long as it was useful. Di Haoyin looked at her expectant little face. He suddenly reached out, grabbed her chin, and pulled her in front of him. Tang Bao's neck was stretched out by him, but he still didn't dare to say anything. You should know how to read people's expressions. I've already said it. Is it still useful? Di Haoyin asked unkindly. His black eyes were sharp and unfathomable. But someone who can see through your thoughts must be a great person. Do you think I'm a great person? If I were, would I be forced to this point? Tang Bao asked. If you think I'm forcing you, you can leave now. Di Haoyin withdrew his hand. Chapter 550. She smiled shyly and said, How could you force me to do that? Not at all. It was just a slip of the tongue. Don't take it seriously. Don't be calculative with a child like me. A child? Di Hao Ian leaned back lazily. Tang Bao knew that she was already 20 years old and could not be considered child. She could not say that in front of Di Hao Ian. She was also a child in terms of age. However, in front of Di Hao Ian now, she had to think carefully before saying anything. If she was not careful, she would offend him. It was really a terrifying level of inviolability. Just as she was about to explain herself, Di Hao Ian spoke again. I didn't know that children were so good at certain things. Tang Bao's face heated up, and she felt a little uncomfortable. How do we end up talking about that kind of thing? She did not want to talk about this topic and wanted to change the topic. Are you really going to buy the company? Can you let it go for the sake of our relationship as husband and wife? Besides, how much is my company worth? Are you interested in it, T? Yes, I am. For a businessman, even a cent is a benefit. Tang Bao pursed her lips. So smart? In the past, when you spent money for me, don't even talk about a cent being a benefit. You spent hundreds of millions. Di Hao Ian did not miss the scene of Tang Bao pursing her lips. He said expressionlessly, Are you pursing your lips? Ah, no, it's just that the corners of my mouth are a little cramped. Tang Bao did not dare to provoke Di Hao Ian at all now. For the sake of her company, she was now coaxing Di Hao Ian for everything. Di Hao Ian stared coldly at her vivid expression. His face was cold and stern. The pressure from his indifferent gaze made Tang Bao feel a little uncomfortable. Di Hao Ian, what do I have to do to make you willing to let go of my company? Can I kneel in front of you? Tang Bao asked helplessly. Are your knees very valuable? Tang Bao placed his chin on the table weakly. Her entire body was worthless, let alone her knees. Could it be that he couldn't even use a soft method? You're not completely useless. Di Hao Ian said kindly when he saw her despairing look. Tang Bao seemed to see hope. He suddenly raised his head and looked at Di Hao Ian. What? What do you think? Di Hao Ian stared at her with a dangerous look in his dark eyes. Tang Bao was all too familiar with that look. His body instinctively moved back a little. His back was pressed against the back of the chair, and his back was straight. He looked at Di Hao Ian warily. If I'm satisfied and comfortable, I'll consider giving up the acquisition. You're still only considering? Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. Don't you have Lan Wanru? Why do you still want me to do such a thing with you? When he said this, his heart sank. It was as if he was dragging her down to hell with him. However, he couldn't help but say it out loud. She's not in good health. Naturally, I don't want her to work hard. Tang Bao stared at Di Hao Ian in a daze. Should she be glad that Di Hao Ian was reluctant to Lan Wanru? Or should she be sad that she had become his use to solve his physiological problem? In short, this was not something to be happy about. Di Hao Ian didn't ask her again. He stared at Tang Bao's clear eyes for a long time, then stood up and left. Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. When Di Hao Ian was about to reach the door, she immediately ran over and stood in front of Di Hao Ian. She pressed her back against the door, as if she didn't want Di Hao Ian to go out. Okay, I promise. You don't have to force yourself. Di Hao Ian stared at her coldly, with a condescending expression. I'm not forcing myself. I'm very happy that you can give me this opportunity. Half of it was against her will, and the other half was sincere. However, she had to pretend that she was sincere to please Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian looked down at her from above. He didn't say anything, and his dark eyes were deep. Tang Bao knew that it wasn't difficult to completely convince Di Hao Ian with what she said. Then why did she have to do this? How could she make Di Hao Ian believe her? Tang Bao fell into Di Hao Ian's deep and unfathomable dark eyes. They were firm, with a straight nose and thin lips below. They were sexy and cold. Perhaps she should have been more straightforward in order to persuade Di Hao Ian to accept it. Now all the sovereignty was in Di Hao Ian's hands. She didn't have any choice. Tang Bao closed her eyes, braced herself, stood on tiptoe, pouted her small mouth, and moved closer to Di Hao Ian's thin lips. She kissed him directly. When their lips touched, Tang Bao's heart trembled. She knew the shape of his lips, even with her eyes closed, because he had kissed her so many times. Gentle, forceful, rough, so many that she couldn't remember. Her breathing was unsteady and entangled, and her eyelashes fluttered uneasily and nervously. Because they were too long, they were stuck on Di Hao Ian's face. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes were full of Tang Bao's slightly flushed face. His long eyelashes were stirring. This kiss seemed to have ignited the fire in his blood. His body was tense because of the sweet taste, as if all the strength in his body was urgently waiting to be released. After almost a minute, Tang Bao's lips slowly moved back. Di Hao Ian, who had been motionless all this time, moved at this moment. He took the initiative. He directly pressed Tang Bao against the door behind her rudely. Tang Bao couldn't help but be shocked by such an intense action. Then she was swallowed whole. There was no gap at all. It was a world of difference from her kiss just now. Tang Bao felt a tingling pain, but she still endured it in fear. The force that pressed her against the door felt like it was going to crush her bones. When she was released dizzily, the tip of Di Hao Ian's nose was on her face, and his breathing was heavy. Tang Bao also took in big mouthfuls of oxygen. Her watery eyes trembled and blurred. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes looked at her deeply, and the wanton blood flow became more and more violent. Tang Bao was very familiar with the dangerous signal in Di Hao Ian's eyes. Although she was already mentally prepared, she still instinctively wanted to run. As soon as she moved, the force that pressed on her body exerted on her. Di Hao Ian's voice was hoarse. Why, want to run? No, it's just that you're pressing on me, and it hurts a little. It hurt just like that. There's more. Tang Bao's heart suddenly trembled. Before she could come back to her senses, Di Hao Ian opened the door and dragged Tang Bao out. Their destination was the hotel suite. As soon as they entered, Tang Bao was kissed forcefully, and there was no space for her to breathe. Tang Bao was a little scared, and at the same time, she was driven by Di Hao Ian's intensity, and her breathing became rapid. She thought that she must be crazy. This seemed to be a deal, but it was inevitable that the present and the previous scene before Di Hao Ian lost his memory would be mixed together. It made her confused. Tang Bao was thrown in and thrown on the big bed. Chapter 551. Then Di Hao Ian pressed down on her like a tiger. His overwhelming shadow was about to swallow her whole. Di Hao Ian didn't waste any time. She didn't even have time to comfort him. She was extremely anxious. It made Tang Bao feel that Di Hao Ian's previous indifference was not his real heart. If he was really indifferent, why did he seem to need her so much now? Or was it just her imagination? Was it because Lan Wanru's current body was not suitable for this kind of thing, so he could only find him and give him a spring of sweet water? After all, Lan Wanru's body definitely couldn't satisfy Di Hao Ian. Tang Bao felt very sad. Tang Bao didn't know how she spent the afternoon and the night. Di Hao Ian wanted to spend all his energy on her, as if he hadn't experienced this kind of thing for hundreds of years. Tang Bao didn't know when she woke up. When she opened her eyes, she saw Di Hao Ian sleeping next to her. Tang Bao missed this feeling and curled herself closer to Di Hao Ian's arms. When Tang Bao really woke up, she was the only one on the bed. The suite was quiet. Tang Bao sat up, and the movement of her body almost took her life. She wailed in the empty suite for a while before she tried to get out of bed. She picked up the clothes on the floor and put them on. When she walked out of the bedroom, she was still hoping to see Di Hao Ian somewhere in the room. However, it didn't surprise her. Di Hao Ian really wasn't there. Just as Tang Bao put on her clothes and was about to leave, her phone rang. She took it out and saw that it was from Di Hao Ian. After she opened it, it read, "I've been in the room for 3 days. Continue at night." Tang Bao's vision suddenly turned black. She immediately replied with a tone of disbelief, "It's not over yet?" Di Hao Ian replied with one word, "No." Tang Bao replied, "No, we're already like this." Di Hao Ian replied with 2 words, "The company." These 2 words were the Tang Bao's Achilles heel. She opened her mouth and exhaled deeply. If he didn't open his mouth to vomit, he felt that the anger in his stomach couldn't be suppressed. If Di Hao Ian was in front of her, she really wanted to throw her phone at his face. Most importantly, he had even booked a room for 3 days. Does that mean I don't know tonight? The doorbell rang, and the person outside said, "Food delivery." Tang Bao opened the door and saw a waiter pushing a dining cart outside. There was a lot of lunch in the dining car. When he let her in, Tang Bao thought to himself, Di Hao Ian actually knows how to order food for me. Later on, she would understand that she would only have the strength to do that kind of thing with him when she was full. Di Hao Ian is so thoughtful. After lunch, Tang Bao took off her clothes, changed into her pajamas, and lay back on the bed. She felt that there was no part of her body that wasn't uncomfortable. Every movement was tolerated. Moreover, her body was weak. Therefore, she fell asleep in less than a minute after lying down on the bed. She didn't know how long she slept, but she felt something strange on her body. When she opened her eyes, she saw Di Hao Ian on her body. "I'm very tired. Let me sleep for a while." Tang Bao resisted and pulled Di Hao Ian's hair. Then, she was bitten. Tang Bao cried out softly, "Ah, are you awake?" Tang Bao stared at the ceiling in despair. She was awake. However, Di Hao Ian didn't continue. Instead, he left the bed and stood by the bed looking down at her. "Get up and eat." Tang Bao's misty eyes were a little expectant. She asked, "Di Hao Ian, are you here because you're worried that I haven't eaten?" Di Hao Ian said lightly, "I'm worried that you won't have the strength and will pass out. It'll spoil my fun." Tang Bao sighed. She knew it. At this moment, the doorbell rang. The person who delivered the food came over. However, Tang Bao didn't want to get up yet. When she sat up from the bed, she felt that she had slept for the whole afternoon. Why was she getting lazier? She didn't seem to have recovered at all. It was the same last time. The main thing was that Di Hao Ian was too much. He didn't know how to control himself at all. Tang Bao sat down at the dining table, looking listless. However, she was really hungry. She raised her chopsticks and started eating. Di Hao Ian, who was sitting opposite her, also ate in silence. After eating a few mouthfuls, Tang Bao glanced at the elegant but deep man opposite her from time to time. "Di Hao Ian, are you not going to acquire the company anymore?" Di Hao Ian glanced at her and didn't say anything. "I'm talking to you." Tang Bao was anxious. "If you don't satisfy me in 3 days, the company will still be acquired. Can it be tonight? I can't take it. This is to teach you a lesson. In this world, nothing is easy to get." Tang Bao felt that Di Hao Ian was an evil devil. He actually applied such a sentence to this kind of thing. Di Hao Ian went to the bathroom to take a shower after eating. Tang Bao stood outside and heard the sound of water inside. She looked at the hard wall beside her and really wanted to knock herself out just like that to escape from reality. However, when she thought of her company, she couldn't pay the price of being tormented for a day and a night for nothing. Therefore, she endured it. She returned to the bed. Tang Bao realized that Di Hao Ian was really greedy for this kind of thing. She had never heard that Di Hao Ian was a man who couldn't stand loneliness and had all kinds of women outside. She felt that with Di Hao Ian's physical strength, he was more than enough to sleep with a woman every night. Tang Bao was tortured by Di Hao Ian for most of the night again. Fortunately, he let her go for the latter half of the night. Tang Bao slept after falling asleep until the waiter knocked on the door at noon. Tang Bao felt that it was difficult to even open her eyes. Her long eyelashes fluttered and her eyes fell on the window curtain listlessly. She didn't want to care about the doorbell at all. She felt that her body didn't belong to her at this moment. She felt that she couldn't even walk to the door to open it. She closed her eyes and continued to sleep. With the doorbell ringing, she could actually fall asleep. Tang Bao slept for a day. When she woke up again, it was already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. In other words, it was time to eat again. She turned her body. It was painful, tired, and lazy. She wished that she could do nothing and just lie down and sleep. By the time she got up from the bed, more than an hour had passed. The doorbell rang at the right time. Tang Bao felt weak all over when she got out of bed. This was for hunger. During the meal, Tang Bao thought that she might have to sacrifice her life to satisfy Di Hao Ian. However, it was strange today. Di Hao Ian hadn't appeared yet. He had already arrived at this time yesterday. He was the one who woke her up. In fact, she fainted every time. Chapter 552. Was it the middle of the night or the morning? It must be the middle of the night. Wasn't Lan Wanru still living in the castle? How could he bear to let Lan Wanru live alone in the castle? When Tang Bao thought of this, her heart sank. The food had lost its taste. However, she still let herself fill her stomach. Otherwise, she was afraid that she would die in bed. When Di Hao Yin walked in his suite, he saw Tang Bao lying motionless on the table. He walked over and stood beside her, looking at the person who was breathing evenly. Halfway through the meal, her chopsticks fell to the ground, but she was already fast asleep. Di Hao Yin sneered. She could even fall asleep like this. Di Hao Yin reached out and touched Tang Bao's little face. Tang Bao did not want to be disturbed in her sleep. She did not know who was disturbing her, but she instinctively groaned. Don't continue. Didn't I let you sleep last night? Are you that tired? Di Hao Yin's face was cold. A few minutes later, Tang Bao was lying on the bed and sleeping soundly, while Di Hao Yin went to the bathroom to take a shower. The shower water poured on his strong and sexy body. His muscles were clear and wild. Every muscle contained a powerful force, but at this moment, there was nowhere to vent it. Di Hao Yin did not think that he was a lustful person after losing his memory. It did not matter if he did not want it. He would not think about it. However, since he touched Tang Bao, he had been inexplicably wanting her. After Tang Bao left the castle, he stopped thinking about it, but his body was very irritable. He wanted to taste that delicious taste again. However, Lan Wanru, who appeared in front of him every day, could not arouse his desire. What exactly went wrong? No matter what, he came here for Tang Bao. But she was asleep, and there was no need for him to stay here. He would leave after taking a shower. After taking a shower, Di Hao Yin walked out of the bathroom while drying his hair. The person on the bed was still sleeping soundly. Their little faces were sleeping well. They were pink and tender, just like the skin of a baby. Di Hao Yin knew that it was not only on her face, but also on her body. That kind of feeling was ecstasy. Di Hao Yin, who initially wanted to leave after taking a shower, turned around and went to bed. His chiseled face turned around, and Tang Bao's obedient and peaceful sleeping face was right in front of him. There was nothing he could do. He should return to the castle. But on second thought, since he had already taken a shower, he might as well sleep here to save himself the trouble. Tang Bao woke up lazily in the morning. When she opened her eyes, she saw Di Hao Yin sleeping with her in his arms. She raised her head and was a little confused. When did Di Hao Yin come yesterday? Also, did they do it? I don't think so, right? Now, she didn't feel any pain in her body. There was only the lingering fatigue from yesterday. Tang Bao looked at her peaceful sleeping face and gradually became more and more affectionate. She really wanted to draw every line on her face with her hands, but she didn't dare to because she was afraid of waking him up. Although she didn't know when Di Hao Yin slept beside her, when she opened her eyes and saw him, she was happier than anything else. Why couldn't Di Hao Yin always stay by her side? Why couldn't Di Hao Yin remember her? Why did the two of them have to develop to this point? Why did she have to bear all this? If she was the one who fell off the cliff and lost her memory, would she be in as much pain as she was now? Have you seen enough? A low and hoarse voice sounded, and then Di Hao Yin's black eyes opened, and there was a sudden flash of light. Tang Bao was startled. What did you wake up? If you have a need, you don't have to stare at me like this. You could just do it. What? Tang Bao was stunned. While she was stunned, her hand was grabbed and she was pulled over. She was so scared that she wanted to run away. However, Di Hao Yin's hand was extremely strong, so naturally, she couldn't escape. Why did I come over? Di Hao Yin asked coldly. It's morning now. Tang Bao knew how lame this excuse was. Di Hao Yin never cared about the time or place when he wanted it. Di Hao Yin looked at Tang Bao's tired face. It seemed that she still hadn't recovered after a night's rest. He shook off her hand with a cold face, lifted the quilt, and got out of bed. Tang Bao thought that Di Hao Yin would force himself on her, and she was mentally prepared. However, Why did he let go of her hand? Di Hao Yin, you don't want it anymore? Tang Bao was terrified when she was violated by Di Hao Yin, and she was also terrified when she wasn't violated. I don't like to force. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yin with a black face. Don't force? These 3 words are the most unsuitable for you to say. Then about the company, Di Hao Yin didn't say anything. He just turned around, and his eyes were cold and emotionless. Tang Bao's heart turned cold. She couldn't be clearer about that gaze, right? Di Hao Yin, why don't we start now and make up for last night? No matter how much you want, I won't refuse. Tang Bao felt that she was really cheap at this moment. She was controlled to this extent by Di Hao Yin. She couldn't resist at all. However, she had to do this for the company. I'm not interested anymore. After Di Hao Yin said this, he put on his clothes and left directly. Tang Bao wanted to chase after him, but as soon as her feet touched the ground, she felt dizzy and sat on the bed again. After a while, the dizziness dissipated. Di Hao Yin, on the other hand, was long gone. Tang Bao held her head weakly, feeling so weak physically and mentally. Leaning against the headboard, she felt that these 2 days had been sacrificed in vain. She couldn't guess Di Hao Yin's emotions at all. He changed his mind at will. After lying in the suite for another 2 hours, she got up lazily. When she got her phone, she saw a text message from Wan Malay. The content was that T had given up on buying the company. Tang Bao couldn't believe her eyes. She had read it several times, and the date of the message was last night. Tang Bao immediately called Wan Malay. After the call was connected, she asked anxiously, "What's the situation? What do you mean by the text message?" Don't you understand? I thought it would be more convenient to text you, so I didn't call. T has given up on buying our company. The company is now back to normal. Yesterday morning? Tang Bao was a little doubtful about the time. Yes, Zhou Jisen came over yesterday morning and then dealt with some matters. The company is fine now. Tang Bao couldn't keep up with the pace. When she couldn't get out of bed on the first day, Di Hao Yin already had a plan. And he didn't say anything and continued to want her until today. Since he had already given up on buying the company, why didn't he tell her? He even made her worry that the company would definitely be finished. She had to admit that Di Hao Yin was really a terrible person. Are you coming to the company? Chapter 553. That. Zhou Jisen said that if you want to protect Kuchun, don't mention Changsheng. You can only choose one of the two. But Changsheng suffered such a heavy blow because of me. How can I not mention it? Tang Bao, although the young master has given up on the acquisition, even if he changes his mind now, we can't do anything about it. Do you want that to happen? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao really felt like breaking down. She knew very well what Wan Malay said. It was indeed like that. It was as if the lifeline was controlled by Di Hao Yin. Whatever he said was the truth. No one could stop his dominance and ruthlessness. Tang Bao felt guilty. But what else could she do? Back at the company, Tang Bao sat down on the sofa. Why did she feel that she was still lazy after sleeping for a night? She felt like she didn't want to move after sitting down. Did you go to see Vice President Yu? I did. When I entered the company, I felt that the atmosphere was different from 2 days ago, Tang Bao said. That's great. You can rest assured now. Tang Bao looked at her and didn't say anything. I know what you're thinking. Changsheng's matter has nothing to do with you. Why? Zhou Jisen said that the young master didn't like Changsheng in the past. Really? Really? That's what Zhou Jisen said. He said that you're just a fuse. Without you, Changsheng won't be able to run away sooner or later. I see. Di Hao Yin uses this method to deal with people he doesn't like. No wonder those people are so afraid of Di Hao Yin. He's really ruthless, Tang Bao said. Wan Malay looked at Tang Bao, who was talking to himself. She didn't interrupt or say anything. Actually, Zhou Jisen did tell her that, but he also said that he used this to comfort Tang Bao so that Tang Bao wouldn't feel guilty. It really worked. In the afternoon, Tang Bao stayed in the office to deal with work. Now, she could handle it with ease. However, it didn't take long before he started yawning. Wan Malay stood at his desk and watched as Tang Bao yawned with tears in his eyes. He had no choice but to walk over. Tang Bao, go and sleep for a while. Tang Bao looked at the incomplete work in his hands, thought for a while, and said, then I'll go take a nap first. Tang Bao fell asleep as soon as he got into bed. She thought she was just taking a short nap, but when she woke up, it was almost time to get off work. Tang Bao walked out of the lounge and saw Wan Malay drinking water after finishing his work. He asked, why did I sleep for so long? Why didn't you call me? Why did I call you? It's not like the sky is falling. Do it tomorrow, Wan Malay said. He saw that Tang Bao's complexion was much better than when he came here. Actually, Wan Malay knew how much the Tang Bao had sacrificed to save the company. But because they were husband and wife, it was nothing. It was just that Tang Bao was feeling uncomfortable. Therefore, Wan Malay pretended not to know. Tang Bao did not go to the hospital for a checkup, nor did she buy any pregnancy pills. It was fine as long as she knew what she was doing. She did it secretly. She went to work as usual. She just paid more attention in her heart. Wan Malay saw Tang Bao coming in and said, you look much better than yesterday. Looks like you had a good rest. Yes, the company is still here. Of course I look better. You seem to be in a good mood too. Tang Bao thought that after knowing that she was pregnant, her mood was better. Ever since Wan Malay got closer to Hiju, she often asked Di Haoyan if he had gone to look for Tang Bao. Just like last night, after she left the Tang family, she called Hiju and asked if Di Haoyan had any intention of going to the Tang family. Hiju directly replied to her with 2 words, no. Therefore, there was no need to ask Tang Bao anymore. Looking at Tang Bao's mood, it was as if the haze had been swept away. Those who did not know better would think that she and Di Haoyan had reconciled. Chapter 554. Why? Can't I watch? By the way, the people in the company have been working hard recently. I'll treat them to dinner tonight. Really? That's great. Wan Malay also felt that it was worth celebrating. I'll leave this matter to Vice President Yu. I'll tell her personally later. Also, I won't be going, Tang Bao added. Wan Malay was surprised. You're not going? Why aren't you going? Don't you want to be independent? It's easier to get along with them at this time. She didn't understand. It's okay. Just tell them that it's my treat. But I can't go because I have something else to do. What can you do? Wan Malay couldn't think of anything. You're not hiding something from me, are you? What can I hide from you? I can't wait to be together 24 hours a day. I'll tell you about Di Haoyan and Hiju. That's true. Are you really not going? Wan Malay felt that if Tang Bao didn't go, she wouldn't be in high spirits. You must go, Tang Bao immediately said when he saw her expression. Got it, Wan Malay said reluctantly. After work, those who were supposed to get off work got off work. The leaders all went to the party. Tang Bao sat alone in the office and didn't leave. If she wasn't pregnant, she would definitely go to such an occasion. But now that she was pregnant, everything was for the child. She wanted to protect her child from any harm, even if it was just in case. Actually, she didn't know how long she could hide it. Her belly would get bigger and bigger in 3 months, and it would definitely be discovered. What should she do then? Tang Bao sighed deeply. She would take it one step at a time. The most important thing now was for her to maintain a good attitude. Didn't they say that a mother's mood would affect the fetus? So, she would also pay attention. Tang Bao asked the chauffeur to send her to the street. Then, she walked and stopped on the street. Her mood was much more relaxed. Di Haoyan had just gotten out of the car and was about to enter the high-class clubhouse. Hiju walked up. Young master, it's young madam. Di Haoyan paused and turned around. Across the street, Tang Bao was shopping. He was standing in front of the window and looking inside. It was filled with desserts. He thought she was going to buy it, but after looking for a while, she turned around. The two of them looked at each other across the road. Tang Bao did not expect to see Di Haoyan when she turned around. She was so scared that she quickly pretended not to see anything and walked forward. Was she too unlucky? Coming out to relax would also lead to meeting Di Haoyan. After she took a few steps, Hiju's voice came from behind her. Young madam, the young master wants you to go over. Tang Bao knew that Hiju was not only Di Haoyan's man, but also Wan Malay's man. Therefore, he wasn't that nervous. She turned around and laughed dryly at him. Why are you looking for me? Can you tell him that I still have something to do? So I'll go back first? The young master said that if you don't go over, he'll buy your company. Tang Bao glared at Ju and turned to walk across the road. Di Hao Yin was no longer in front of the clubhouse. He must have gone in. Then, Ju brought her to the private room where Di Hao Yin was. Di Hao Yin was sitting inside with his long legs crossed. His aura was deep and inviolable. There was a cigarette between his slender fingers that was burning. After Tang Bao entered, the door behind him closed. She was stunned and did not turn around. She knew that Ju had closed the door. However, she did not approach Di Hao Yin anymore. She stood there and looked at Di Hao Yin defensively. She looked at Di Hao Yin. Her mood was different from a few days ago. A few days ago, she was depressed. Now, there was a throbbing in the calm, because she had Di Hao Yin's child in her stomach. She was standing in front of him, but he didn't know anything. When she was pregnant with her first child, Di Hao Yin was so nervous. When the child was gone, Di Hao Yin was so angry. It was as if she had lost his treasure. Now that he had lost his memory, she couldn't say anything. She couldn't expect Di Hao Yin to change his attitude towards her after finding out that she was pregnant with his child. Are you going to stand there and talk to me? Di Hao Yin stared at her with his dark eyes that were sharp and shiny. Tang Bao came back to his senses. He didn't walk forward. Instead, he said, "You're smoking. I don't like the smell of smoke." Di Hao Yin frowned. He had high standards. No one dared to be dissatisfied with his behavior. Ever since he lost his memory, the most presumptuous person in front of him was Tang Bao. However, Di Hao Yin thought that he wasn't that obsessed with smoking, so he put out the cigarette in the ashtray with a cold face. Tang Bao looked at his actions and was in a daze. He put out the cigarette in the end. Just like on the day of their wedding, Di Hao Yin sat on the sofa, and she stood not far away. She had also made the same request. At that time, she was surprised that Di Hao Yin would put out the cigarette. Now, she was still surprised that he did so. In the past, she had made such a request because she was afraid of Di Hao Yin. At that time, Di Hao Yin was especially unfamiliar and dangerous to her. She was completely unsure. But now, she didn't want to get close to him because of the child in her belly. It was that simple. Do you want me to invite you over to sit? Di Hao Yin looked at her unhappily. Tang Bao walked over and sat down opposite her. She'd better go along with Di Hao Yin. Otherwise, she didn't know what he would do. Tang Bao felt as if he was carrying a priceless treasure in his arms at this moment. He had to protect it well and not let it get hurt in the slightest. And Di Hao Yin was a dangerous thing. You followed me? Huh? Tang Bao was shocked. When did I follow you? Di Hao Yin, you're in a car. I have 2 legs. How can I follow you? Others may not be able to do it, but you might not be able to, Di Hao Yin said lightly, looking very doubtful. Then you really think highly of me. Tang Bao's face was a mask of smile. Di Hao Yin looked at her coldly and did not look away because of the silence. His gaze was like an infrared ray that could penetrate a person's body. Therefore, Tang Bao was afraid that he would find out that she was pregnant. Tang Bao quickly said to divert his attention, Why did you ask me to come over? Di Hao Yin did not say anything. 2 waiters came in from outside. They ordered the dishes. The other waitress went to serve the dishes, and the other stayed in the private room. When the waitress returned, she stood in the private room to serve. Get out. Di Hao Yin did not even look up as he ordered. The waitress was stunned for a moment and turned to leave. However, there was still disappointment on her face. Tang Bao hoped that they would stay, so she said, You don't have to ask all of them to leave. It's good to have one. Before she could finish, she was stopped by Di Hao Yin's oppressive gaze. I've left the company to you. You don't have to thank me. Di Hao Yin looked at her coldly. Tang Bao thought to herself, so that's what he meant. Okay, I'll pay the bill after you're done eating. Chapter 555. Absolutely not. Tang Bao thought to himself, You're really good at reading people's minds. I was eaten by him, and you want me to thank you? What kind of twisted logic is this? Of course, She had already made up her mind to be an obedient punching bag in front of Di Hao Yin. At this moment, Di Hao Yin was not as important as the child in her heart. The child was her priority. If she did not have a child now, she might be able to mention the acquisition of Changsheng. However, she did not say it in the end. Besides, Changsheng had already been swallowed by tea. It was useless to talk about it now. Could it be that you want Di Hao Yin to spit out what he had eaten? That was impossible. I remember that there was a party in your company. Why didn't you go? Di Hao Yin's tone was indifferent. Tang Bao was puzzled by the question. What did it have to do with you? Also, how did Di Hao Yin know about the party in her company so clearly? Di Hao Yin, did you arrange any spies in my company? Tang Bao couldn't help but ask. I'm already being merciful by not buying your company. Being merciful? Wasn't I the one who worked hard to get it? Even if you think that I used your body to get it, you can only say that I'm very generous. No matter how expensive a woman is, I won't give her a company. Tang Bao told himself over and over again. Endure. You must endure. You have a baby in your stomach. Baby, when you grow up in the future, help me bully your daddy. Di Hao Yin's sharp black eyes watched the changes on Tang Bao's face. Her suppressed anger turned into calmness. She was better at enduring than before. It was not like her. In the past, she would endure, but in the end, she would still resist. However, Di Hao Yin was very satisfied with her obedience. The food was served quickly. It was all exquisite food. Tang Bao was a little hungry after wandering outside for so long. After the food was served, he picked up his chopsticks and started eating. Di Hao Yin looked at Tang Bao's impudence with an indifferent expression. He had no scruples in front of him. After he lost his memory, she was the only one who dared to eat in front of him. In the past, when he had noticed this problem, he had only compared her to Lan Wanru. Until now, among the people he had come into contact with, none of them were as impudent as Tang Bao. Was it because the Tang Bao was born to be so carefree? Or was it a habit? Why are you looking at me without eating? It's delicious. Try it. Tang Bao said when he saw Di Hao Yin's strange look. Do I need you to teach me? Di Hao Yin snapped back to reality. Tang Bao was speechless. His good intentions had been taken for granted. What are you thinking about? Di Hao Yin asked. I want to poke your eyes out with chopsticks. Tang Bao spoke his mind. Di Hao Yin. Tang Bao also ignored him. Who cared if he ate or not? If he didn't, she would eat more. Hence, she really focused on eating her food. One chopstick after another, it was as if Di Hao Yin, who was next to her, was invisible. Di Hao Yin's expression was ugly. He had come out for a meal and angered himself. He should have pretended not to see Tang Bao when he saw her across the road. He didn't know what was wrong with him that made he Jew call her over. As Tang Bao ate, she suddenly felt that the atmosphere was not right. She looked up and saw Di Hao Yin's cold eyes. Her mouth, which was chewing on her food, paused. She retracted the chopsticks that she had extended. She asked carefully, "What's wrong?" As she spoke, she had not swallowed the food in her mouth. Di Hao Yin looked coldly at Tang Bao's face that was full of food and did not say a word. He felt that she looked a little cute. I think you aroused my appetite more than the food. Tang Bao was stunned. Looking at Di Hao Yin's deep and wild black eyes, she could not be more familiar with the storm in them. It was very dangerous. Well, I'm full. Enjoy your meal. I'll leave first. Tang Bao stood up and wanted to leave. However, before she could take 2 steps, her arm tightened like an iron clamp, and she was pulled over. Ah! Tang Bao fell onto Di Hao Yin's body and sat on his sturdy thighs. She wanted to stand up as if it was a reflex. However, the strong arm wrapped around her slender waist, and she could not get up. Looking at Di Hao Yin's expressionless face, she could see how easy it was for him to control Tang Bao. What are you doing? Tang Bao did not dare to struggle violently, because she had Xiao Bao in her stomach. You want to leave after eating? Tang Bao thought for a moment and said, No, I want to go out and settle the bill. Just ask someone to come in and settle the bill. Di Hao Yin pressed the bell. Almost as soon as the bell stopped, there was a knock on the door. The service staff who came and saw the posture of the 2 people inside and was stunned for a moment. Then, he calmed down and walked to Di Hao Yin's side. What can I do for you? Settle the bill. Yes, please wait a moment. After the service staff left, Tang Bao frowned at Di Haoyan. Aren't you going to let me down? It won't look good if others see us like this. I'm hugging you for others to see. Then why are you doing this? It's because I feel comfortable hugging you. Di Haoyan was quite calm. Tang Bao could not believe how thick-skinned he was. He was still so domineering even after he lost his memory. However, she did not quite understand why Di Haoyan suddenly wanted to dominate her. Did she do anything? After the service staff came in, she came back to her senses. How much? 126,000 yuan. Tang Bao looked at the table of food with her heart bleeding. She thought to herself, delicious food is indeed different. It can drive a normal person crazy. What are you looking at? It's all yours. Di Haoyan's low voice was very hateful. Tang Bao pretended not to hear it. She could not help but retort in her heart, it's not me either. It's your son who ate it. Tang Bao wanted to get her bag to settle the bill, but she found that her waist was still held in front of the service staff. Her small face could not help but become redder. Her eyes were hinting at Di Haoyan to let go of her. Di Haoyan did not let go. He was completely unmoved and unyielding. Tang Bao could no longer hold back the anger in her heart. She did not care that the service staff was there and opened her mouth to bite Di Haoyan's shoulder. The pain in his shoulder made Di Haoyan frown. His voice was low and tense. Little wolf dog. Tang Bao's small mouth, which was biting, paused, and her body trembled. Di Haoyan also seemed to have just realized what he had said. He was stunned. The service staff did not dare to stand there and left the private room awkwardly. Tang Bao felt that her brain could not think. After she got down from Di Haoyan, she realized that Di Haoyan had unknowingly let go of her. Tang Bao sat down in her seat, lowered her head to get her bag, and rummaged through the wallet inside. However, her movements seemed to be unconscious. Chapter 556. Are you still going to say that you didn't give me that wolf dog accessory? Di Haoyan said in a deep voice. Tang Bao's hand froze. Her head was lowered, so her expression couldn't be seen. However, 2 drops of tears fell down and dripped on the back of her hand. It was so hot that the back of her hand trembled. She shook her head and said in a hoarse voice, I didn't give it to you. She raised her head and looked at Di Haoyan with tears in her eyes. Di Haoyan felt a stabbing pain in his heart. The muscles in his chest instinctively tightened to relieve the discomfort. You bought it for me when we were shopping. You were in a car accident and unconscious. I couldn't see you, so I had to take the risk of climbing into your ward through the window. After I went in, I put the crystal wolf dog under your pillow. I hoped that when you woke up and saw the wolf dog, you would think of me and call me immediately. But you lost your memory, and I didn't get a call from you. Tang Bao wiped the tears on her face. Do you know that when I bit you in the past, you always said that I was a wolf dog? That's why I got this wolf dog accessory. After Tang Bao finished speaking, she stood up and left the private room. Di Haoyan sat in his seat and didn't move. He gave it to her. He went shopping with Tang Bao. He couldn't imagine such a scene. He had never told Tang Bao or anyone else that he saw the wolf dog accessory under his pillow. So, she was really the one who put it there, and he was also the one who gave it to her. After Tang Bao finished speaking, his heart felt very uncomfortable. Even his breathing was irregular, and his expression seemed to be painful. The veins on the back of his hand were bulging and twisting. What went wrong between him and Tang Bao? Why couldn't he remember anything? Why could he only remember Lan Wanru? Tang Bao got into the driver's car and went to the Tang family's house. She sat in the back seat and leaned her head weakly against the window. She leaned against the rapidly passing scenery outside, but nothing caught her eyes. All she could think about was what happened in the restaurant just now. She couldn't help but cry because Di Haoyan called her wolf dog. It seemed that the old Di Haoyan had returned. However, when Di Haoyan aggressively said that she gave the wolf dog to him, she knew that her palpitation was unnecessary. Di Haoyan didn't remember anything at all. Perhaps the words little wolf dog were just an unconscious recognition in his mind, nothing more. Lan Wanru was waiting for Di Haotian in the castle. She waited until the middle of the night without sleeping. When he realized that it wasn't Di Haotian, he was disappointed again. She had a test to spend time Di Haotian left early and returned late every day. She didn't know if he had slept in the castle. None of the servants told her the truth. Zhongli helped Tang Bao in everything. As for Lian, she thought that he would be able to tell the difference. She didn't expect him to answer her ambiguously. And now, Di Haotian still hadn't returned to the castle. What was the reason? She was happy to stay in the huge castle, but she hoped that Di Haotian could accompany her. Or did he go to look for the Tang Bao? That's impossible, right? The Tang Bao left on his own accord. Didn't that mean that he wanted to sever ties with them? How could Di Haotian look for her? If he really cared about her, why would he let her leave? Moreover, it had been so long, but he didn't seem to want her to come back. Zhang Li, who was secretly observing Lan Wanru, scoffed at his waiting expression. She turned around and went to look for Lian. Supervisor, did you see that? Recently, the young master has been spending less and less time in the castle, Zhang Li said. He should be busy with something. I've never seen the young master not come back in the middle of the night. He is completely at ease in the young master's hands. I think the young master doesn't want to come back because he doesn't want to see Lan Wanru, or he want to look for young madam. What do you think? Zhang Li asked expectantly. Lian looked at her and nodded. I think so. Zhang Li was quite surprised by this answer. Supervisor, you actually didn't object to my words this time? I'm so surprised. Lian didn't say anything. With an unfathomable expression, he turned around and left. Zhang Li stood there in a daze. Why did he leave before he finished speaking? Di Haotian's tall figure walked into the hall. Lan Wanru's eyes lit up and immediately walked forward. Brother Haotian, you're back? Yes. Why aren't you asleep yet? I've been waiting for you. It seems like you're back quite late, Lan Wanru said with a worried expression. Seeing that Di Haotian didn't seem to have any reaction to this topic, he hurriedly asked, Are you hungry? I'll get the kitchen to make you something to eat. No need. You go and rest. I still have some things to deal with, Di Haotian said, and went to the study. Lan Wanru looked at Di Haotian's figure with extreme disappointment. This wasn't what she wanted. What she wanted was for Di Haotian to love her, marry her, and treat her like a treasure. Could it be that she was too greedy? But wasn't all of this supposed to develop as she wanted? Why couldn't she get Tang Bao's care when he wasn't in the castle? Or was it that Di Haotian also treated Tang Bao like this before he lost his memory? No, Tang Bao was Tang Bao, and she was her. She definitely couldn't let go of him while she was in the water. Early the next morning, Lan Wanru called Di Junbai. Brother, what's wrong? Calling so early in the morning? Di Junbai was still eating breakfast when he answered the phone in front of his family. I feel bad. Tell me what happened. Di Junbai asked. Di Lingwei and Li Yuhuai pricked up their ears to listen. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Now that Tang Bao isn't in the castle, I feel uneasy. Brother, I want to ask you something. Go ahead. Has Brother Haotian been very busy recently? I don't see him early in the morning, and he comes back late at night. Was he really that busy? Or did he go to find Tang Bao? Lan Wanru asked. He recently bought a company, so he's a little busy, Di Junbai said. One company? Aren't there two? Lan Wanru asked in surprise. Tang Bao's company didn't continue to buy. He only bought Changsheng, Di Junbai said. How can Brother Haotian do this? He said he would buy two companies. Why did it become one? That's Tang Bao's company. It's understandable that he was soft-hearted at the last moment. Besides, Tang Bao is still his wife, Di Junbai said. Chapter 557. Lan Wanru was extremely depressed. Don't think too much. He is really busy. You should understand him, Di Junbai said. I know. I'll understand him. The only thing I can't stand is the existence of the Tang Bao. After hanging up, Di Junbai said to his family, It's Wanru. It must be about Di Haotian, Di Lingwei said unhappily. She said that my brother has been leaving early and returning late recently. He's basically unpresentable. Last night, he seemed to have stayed in the office very late before leaving. Di Junbai said. This doesn't seem right. Di Linghua thought. Di Hao Ian seems to have accepted Wanru, but he doesn't seem to be able to let go of the Tang Bao. What is he thinking? It's already come to this point. Why isn't he willing to divorce? Di Junbai's gaze changed, but he didn't say anything. She's just one step away. All of you should work harder. Di Linghua's expression wasn't good. The two of you can't just watch Wanru work hard. You should do something. I'll think of a way and act according to the situation. Have you thought about what to do if my brother regains his memory? Di Junbai suddenly asked. Li Yuhai looked at Di Linghua. Di Linghua's expression didn't seem to have thought about this problem. In the end, he said, even if he regains his memory, he and Wanru will already be husband and wife. It won't be easy for him to get a divorce. Naturally, I won't let him have it easy. Di Junbai looked away and ate his breakfast without saying anything. No matter what the Tang Bao did, he always cared about the baby in her stomach. Even when he was working, he sat on the sofa in the most comfortable position. Although the office chair was comfortable, it was also tiring for the body after sitting for a long time. The baby in her stomach would feel uncomfortable. Also, when they were eating, the Tang Bao gave them special treatment. He dragged Wan Malay to another lounge to have a meal together. Wan Malay looked at the food on the table, which was more than enough for 4 people. Then, she looked at the way the Tang Bao ate. Both sides of her face were stuffed with food. It had been like this recently. She had to wonder. Baby, do you have something on your mind recently? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao looked at her in confusion. Why do you ask? You can't blame me for asking this. Look at you. It's as if you haven't eaten anything good. Recently, you've been thinking about cooking for yourself. Do you lack calcium? There were only 3 ways to cook fish. I'm a fool. Wan Malay's face twitched. Not to mention, they really looked alike. Just treat it as if I'm crazy. Really eat it. It'll be a waste if you can't finish it. You also know that it's a waste if you can't finish them? Then why did you order so many? Of course we can't finish it, Wan Malay said. Then there's no other way. Let's just waste it, Tang Bao said indifferently. For the sake of her son, this little bit of food was nothing. She already owed her precious son in the conflict with Di Haoyan. She couldn't lose out in terms of nutrition. She had to let him grow up healthily. Tang Bao, to be honest, I find that you've been very strange recently. Wan Malay still looked at Tang Bao with a puzzled expression. Tang Bao swallowed the food in his mouth and said, Why are you always staring at me? You should be staring at Iju. Why should I stare at him? Wan Malay's eyes flashed left and right. Her voice was a little weak. Really, if you like Iju, you should be together if you have the chance. Why do you talk like you've been there before? Tang Bao sighed deeply and looked at the sunlight outside the window. He said, You can say that I've been there before. Look at now, I want to be with Di Hao Ian, but God doesn't give me this chance. He retracted his gaze and said sincerely to Wan Malay, I'm telling the truth. I've been with Di Hao Ian for so long, and I've never seen Hiju have any messy women. You're talking as if the young master has any messy women, Wan Malay said. At least not as clean as Hiju, Tang Bao said disdainfully. He used to have 1 or 2 women. Xiao Rui was one of them. Have you forgotten Xiao Rui? I haven't forgotten, but why did I hear Hiju say that the young master and Xiao Rui never had any romantic feelings? Wan Malay said. Tang Bao was stunned. No? Do you think Hiju would lie to me? Is there a need for that? Tang Bao had always thought that Di Hao Ian and Xiao Rui had a relationship, but it turned out that they didn't. But why didn't they? Did Di Hao Ian need to worry about anything? Did he not have anything he wanted? Or was it that some things were too easy to get and he didn't like them? Even if Di Hao Ian didn't have anything with Xiao Rui, Di Hao Ian must have had a woman in the past. Tang Bao didn't believe that he didn't have a woman. Tang Bao, do you want to go back to the past like the young master? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao thought for a moment and nodded. This nod stunned Wan Malay. She thought that with Tang Bao's personality, he would be unwilling, or at least hesitate. After all, although Di Haoyan had lost his memory, he had really hurt Tang Bao. Especially with this acquisition, It was obvious that Di Haotian had used some tricks to be willing to return the company to Tang Bao. Even at this point, Tang Bao only thought about it and nodded. The Tang Bao that Wan Malay knew was not such a bashful person. Could it be that this was what it meant to be deeply in love? But what should she do? After lunch, Wan Malay called Hiju. Do you have any way to make the young master and Tang Bao reconcile? Do you know I asked Tang Bao just now? I asked her if she wanted to go back to the past with the young master, and she said yes. Do you know how upset I was when I heard her answer? Tang Bao was not a person who would show weakness, but because of Di Haotian, she had abandoned her principles time and time again. Hiju, is there no way? Wan Malay asked. The young master is on guard against everyone now, and he doesn't trust young madam either, Hiju said. I know. That's why I asked you to think of a way. After Wan Malay finished speaking, the other party fell silent. She thought of something and asked, Hiju, do you like me? No, you like me? Wan Malay almost vomited blood. She could only thicken her skin and say, Okay, I like you, then do you like me? If you don't like me, it's okay. I'm just asking you. I heard from others, what did they say? Such words are suitable for pillow talk. You want to sleep with me? Hiju, can't you tell? I'm a virgin. Don't be a hooligan, okay? Hiju pressed the phone to his ear and listened to Wan Malay's exasperation. The coldness on his face melted a little. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. It's up to you whether you like it or not. Anyway, just tell me, do you have a way to solve this matter? Chapter 558. She regretted saying that she liked him. Hiju probably wouldn't take it seriously. There's only one way. What? Hiju really didn't take it seriously. Forget it. Let's solve Tang Bao's problem first. The young master is investigating the car accident after he lost his memory. It's more useful to start from this aspect. If he finds Di Lingwei, then he'll be suspicious of that family, and Lan Wanru's matter will be weighed. Wan Malay suddenly understood. You're right. Then you have to help the young master investigate quickly. I don't just like you. Wan Malay was stunned. Her face turned red, and the sound of the call ending came from the phone. What did Hiju say? He didn't just like her? Then what else? Seriously. It was so sudden that she couldn't accept it for a moment. Tang Bao walked towards Wan Malay. Looking at the smile on Wan Malay's face, he asked, Why are you smiling foolishly? Wan Malay was so scared that she took a step back. Why are you standing behind me and not saying anything? Did you eavesdrop on my phone call? So you're so happy because you were on the phone? Tang Bao's expression showed that he understood. Your relationship with Hiju has improved by leaps and bounds. You're thinking too much. I'm asking Hiju about you. Wan Malay was a little embarrassed to talk about her, and Hiju. After all, she didn't admit that she liked Hiju back then. It was quite embarrassing to admit it now. What is it? Hiju said that there's only one way for you and the young master to reconcile and not have any grudges. What? Investigate the car accident. If they find out that Di Lingwei was involved, his family will be in trouble. When that time comes, Lan Wanru won't be able to escape, right? Even if the young master wants to let it go, there won't be anything between him and Lan Wanru. Then you'll be the only one by his side. At least he won't suspect you of hurting him. What if the car accident wasn't caused by Di Lingwei? Tang Bao asked. After all, it's just my guess. I don't have any evidence. But I think Hiju's guess is also Di Lingwei. Who else could it be? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao also felt that there was a problem. If that's the case, there's hope for me. Of course, and I think that maybe the young master had a sensitive guess about things after he woke up. Otherwise, why would he be investigating the car accident? No one else knew. Therefore, he couldn't let anyone know about this. Di Lingwei's family definitely thought that young Master Di, who had lost his memory, wouldn't investigate the car accident. Tang Bao nodded. She hoped that Di Haotian would find out soon. At that time, she could return to Di Haotian's side, and Lan Wanru would no longer be by Di Haotian's side. If that was the case, she and the child in her stomach wouldn't have nowhere to go. Moreover, she had to keep an eye on Di Lingwei. Tang Bao and Wan Malay walked out of the company after work. Before they got into the car, a man rushed over. Tang Bao was shocked and instinctively covered her stomach. Juan Malay saw her action and thought that Tang Bao had a strange reaction. President Tang, do you have time to talk? The person who came was Chongqing's President Wang Kailan. When Tang Bao saw him, she thought of the acquisition of the company. She knew what Wang Kailan wanted to talk to her about. The Wang Kailan from last time was completely different from the Wang Kailan now. One was high-spirited and confident, while the other was haggard. Thinking about the company's incident, it must have dealt him a heavy blow. Tang Bao could understand that feeling very well, because she had just experienced it not long ago. To be honest, Tang Bao was a little unwilling to talk about it, because there wouldn't be any results even if they talked about it. I won't take up too much of your time. Just for a while, okay? Wang Kailan pleaded. Juan Malay, who was beside him, saw Tang Bao's dilemma and couldn't help but say, President Wang, President Tang can't do anything recently, or you can go to T to look for the person in charge. No way? Then why is your company still in good condition? Why did T let your company go? President Tang, on account of the years of business between our two companies, can you help me plead with young Master D? As long as you help me get through this difficult time, I'll agree to any request you make. Wang Kailan gave her a generous offer. Tang Bao looked away slightly. I'm sorry, President Wang. The company has been acquired. There's nothing I can do. As she spoke, she was about to get into the car. Young Master D let your company go because you slept with him. Wang Kailan's expression was distorted. Tang Bao frowned slightly. Juan Malay's expression immediately changed when she heard this. What are you talking about? Even if you slept with him, it was legal. President Tang and young Master D are husband and wife. The acquisition of the company was just a conflict between husband and wife. After the conflict, they naturally won't acquire it again. What did you say? You and young Master D are husband and wife? That's impossible, right? I've never heard of young Master D getting married. Even if you want to reject me, don't lie like this. Wang Kailan obviously didn't believe it. Tang Bao looked at Wang Kailan and said, It's fine if the company isn't acquired. There's not much hope of returning it to you after it's acquired. If there's a chance, I'll mention it to young Master D. As for whether he's willing to let your company go or not, don't come looking for me again in the future. Okay, as long as you try your best, I won't come looking for you again. Tang Bao didn't say anything else and turned to get into the car. After getting into the car, Juan Malay said, How can you promise him such a thing? Won't you have to beg young Master D again? Tang Bao looked out of the car window. Look, Juan Malay followed his gaze and saw a pregnant woman standing outside. Wang Kailan saw the pregnant woman running up to her, and the two of them were talking about something. The pregnant woman had a smile on her face as she looked at Wang Kailan lovingly. Is that Wang Kailan's wife? Juan Malay asked. At that time, Wang Kailan told me that he didn't have any feelings for his wife. Perhaps he didn't have any feelings for her, but his wife was by his side with a big belly at this time. With such a good wife, even if Wang Kailan wasn't worthy of me looking for Di Hao Ian for the sake of his wife, I couldn't be at ease and do nothing. The car drove out. Juan Malay retracted her gaze and smiled. Baby, when did you become so soft-hearted? It's not like you anymore. What? Was my heart very hard in the past? That's not it. It's just that at least it wasn't as soft as it is now. Tang Bao didn't say anything. He looked at the scenery outside the car window in a daze. She wasn't soft-hearted, but they were both pregnant women. Juan Malay didn't follow them back to the Tang family. Instead, she went back to her rented house. Tang Bao returned to the Tang family's villa alone. Everything was abundant in spring. She stood at the edge of the lawn and looked at the green grass that had already grown. Her heart was clear and comfortable. Chapter 559. Zhou Jishan said not to mention it to Di Hao Ian. However, Tang Bao was not afraid of mentioning it. She was afraid that Di Hao Ian would suddenly go crazy and hurt the child in her stomach. While Tang Bao was eating, he almost fell asleep. She yawned and went upstairs. She didn't even take a shower before lying down on the bed. Her two small hands unconsciously pulled the blanket over her and she fell asleep just like that. The phone in her bag rang. It didn't wake the person in bed. She didn't even turn over. Tang Bao slept all the way until daybreak. It was already past the working hours. It was almost 9 o'clock. It seemed that she should tell Wan Malay that her working hours would be changed to 10 o'clock in the future. A good night's sleep would be good for the healthy growth of the child in her stomach. After getting up, Tang Bao took a shower. When she walked out of the bathroom, she heard the phone in her backpack ringing. She took it out and took a look. The caller ID showed that it was Di Junbai. Tang Bao didn't pick up until the phone stopped ringing. She looked at the call records. Di Junbai also called last night, but she was asleep at that time. She didn't want to have any contact with Di Junbai, even if it was a phone call. Di Haoyan had a huge reaction to her contact with Di Junbai. She should be more careful when she was pregnant and not touch Di Haoyan's reverse scale, right? After returning to the company, Wan Malay said curiously when she saw her, "You seem to be late today. I'll change my working hours to 10 o'clock in the future." Didn't you say a while ago that you wanted to go to work on time and be a useful person in charge of the company? You can't hold on so soon? Wan Malay laughed at her. That's right. I can't hold on anymore. Laugh if you want. Tang Bao didn't want to argue with her. What else could she argue about? Say that she didn't want to work so hard because she was pregnant? She couldn't say it. It wasn't that she didn't want to tell Wan Malay, because if she told her, she would definitely be extremely careful and remind her of this and that. When the time came, others would definitely see through it. So it was better not to talk about it. Actually, I thought you want to look for the young master. Wan Malay stopped joking and said. Tang Bao remembered that she did say that to Wang Kailan. He suddenly had a headache. I didn't go. I'd better give Di Haoyan a call. Tang Bao turned around and went into the lounge. He entered the lounge. Tang Bao paced back and forth with his phone in his hand. Was it that easy to call Di Haoyan? Definitely not. Just as she mustered up the courage to call Di Haoyan, her phone suddenly rang. She was so shocked that she almost threw her phone away. When he took a closer look at the caller ID, Tang Bao really wanted to throw his phone away. Why did Di Haoyan call her? What is it? Di Haoyan didn't look for her again after she ran away after dinner last time. What were they trying to do? She always felt that Di Haoyan was impatient on the phone. Tang Bao hurriedly picked up the call. Hello, let's have lunch together. Di Haoyan's deep voice came through like an order. Lunch? Why? There's food in my company, Tang Bao said. Have you forgotten who paid last time? Di Haoyan's voice began to turn cold. How about this? That meal was 126,000 yuan. I'll give you 126,000 yuan. How about that? Tang Bao asked. Are you courting death? I'm not courting death. Wait. Di Haoyan threw out two concise words and hung up the phone. Tang Bao looked at the gradually black screen of his phone and didn't understand what he was trying to do. Wait for what? Wait for death? Or wait for dinner together? Tang Bao sat on the edge of the bed, her mind full of thoughts. She should take this opportunity to go, right? Then, she could mention Changsheng to Di Haoyan. When it was close to lunch, Tang Bao was still in a daze. She didn't know if she should take the initiative to call Di Haoyan, but the phone on the table rang. Seeing that it was Di Haoyan, she quickly picked up the call. Before she could speak, Di Haoyan's usual deep and hoarse voice came through. Come down. Then, the phone was hung up. Tang Bao understood that he wanted her to go downstairs. That meant that Di Haoyan was downstairs. Malay, I'm going to eat, Tang Bao said to Wan Malay's desk. Wan Malay stood up and walked toward her. Where are you going to eat? Alone? With Di Haoyan? You're looking for the young master? Wan Malay was surprised. Why was he so fast? Was it for Changsheng? Tang Bao knew what she was thinking and said, No. He was looking for me. He said that he wanted to have a meal with me. What do you think he means? The young master is unfathomable. I really can't guess. Wan Malay frowned. They'll see when I get there. Tang Bao carried her bag and went downstairs. As soon as she walked out of the company, she saw Di Haoyan's car parked outside. The black car was as domineering and inviolable as its owner. It carried endless danger, as if as long as one approached it, one would be crushed to ashes. Tang Bao stood not far away and took a deep breath before walking towards the car. He drew open the door and she got in. After she sat down, the car drove out. Di Hao Ian sat lazily in the seat. He crossed his legs and looked at her with a sharp gaze. It was as if he wanted to see through her body. Tang Bao felt slightly uncomfortable. Her small eyes flashed and she asked, "Are we still eating at the same place as last time? Let's change places." Tang Bao nodded and didn't say anything else. She hid Di Hao Ian's child and ate with Di Hao Ian. No matter what she did, even if she just sat there without saying or doing anything, the pressure was very strong. It was as if she was afraid that he would see through her. If they changed places to eat, it would still be a high-end place with expensive prices that ordinary people couldn't afford. A meal would cost an ordinary person a year's salary. Therefore, she always felt that it was definitely a joke from the heavens that she could be with Di Hao Ian. She didn't know when the heavens would stop teasing her. After entering the private room, Tang Bao saw the prices on the menu, and her heart ached a few times. However, she still said generously, "Order whatever you want to eat. It's my treat. Don't stand on ceremony." Wouldn't she be able to serve Di Hao Ian well? Then, it would be easier to talk about Changsheng. Di Hao Ian took the menu and really didn't stand on ceremony with her. He ordered a table full of dishes. Almost all the prices on the menu just now were in the thousands. She felt that a meal that cost more than 100,000 yuan would definitely not be able to afford. "You can't bear to part with it?" Di Hao Ian looked at Tang Bao with his deep black eyes. Tang Bao immediately raised her small face that was as bright as a flower. Why would I? Why would I be reluctant to treat you to a meal? I'm simply too willing to part with it." However, in her heart, she was criticizing Di Hao Ian in her heart. He must have eaten diamonds since he was a child. How could Di Hao Ian not see through Tang Bao's thoughts? He wished that it was written on his face. Chapter 560. After the dishes were ordered, the waiter left. The private room returned to the state of two people. Awkwardness, uneasiness, and depression were all caused by Di Hao Ian's strong aura. Tang Bao rubbed her hands together under the table to relieve her nervousness, especially when she realized that Di Hao Ian's eyes had been staring at her face. It made her skin tingle, and she could not avoid it. "Do you have something to say to me? Why do you keep staring at me?" Tang Bao felt uncomfortable being stared at, so she could only ask, "Did you do something wrong?" Tang Bao was stunned, and she suppressed the panic in her heart. Di Hao Ian's senses were too sharp. She did not do anything wrong. How could Di Hao Ian sense it? "You must be mistaken. How could I possibly do something that I feel guilty about? Why do you ask?" Tang Bao tried to make herself look calm and not guilty. Not only that, but she also looked at Di Hao Ian with her eyes, and she did not look away. This was extremely difficult for Tang Bao, but no matter how difficult it was, she had to hold on. "Since you did nothing wrong, why are you hiding from me?" Di Hao Ian told her the truth. "When have I been hiding from you?" Tang Bao asked with a lack of confidence. "Do you think I'm as stupid as you?" "You're the stupid one. Your whole family is stupid." Tang Bao was not happy to be called stupid. "We're husband and wife. Does that include you?" Tang Bao's face froze. She actually forgot about him and the child in her belly. Wasn't that scolding her and the child together? She really did not use her brain. She was so angry with Di Hao Ian that she could not gain any advantage in front of him. "I didn't hide from you on purpose. Don't you know better?" Tang Bao threw this question to Di Hao Ian. He could not help but feel depressed. Although she was trying to cover it up, what she said was the truth. "I think, since you don't want me to stay in the castle, wouldn't it be better for you if I left?" "When did I say that you can't stay in the castle?" Di Hao Ian's eyes were cold. "Do I have to wait for you to tell me personally before I leave? Besides, I don't want to continue enduring that kind of pain." Why did the Tang Bao leave? In fact, both of them were well aware of the situation, so there was no need to say more. "I know you don't believe me. You don't remember anything that happened in the past. My explanation is just like quibbling. Since that's the case, I might as well leave as far away as possible so that we won't be tortured by each other. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. You, who only forced me, didn't care at all." Tang Bao silently added this sentence in his heart. Di Hao Ian retracted his gaze and looked in front of him. There was no expression on his face, but he was also cold and stiff. His chiseled, handsome face was dark and unclear under the light. Tang Bao did not expect Di Hao Ian to give her any comfort. He fell silent, and even the air was suffocating. There was a knock on the door, and the waiter came in with the dishes. Then they began to eat. No one spoke. In the quiet private room, only the crisp sound of the tableware and the sound of chewing could be heard. Move back to the castle. In the silence, Tang Bao heard such a low and cold sentence. Tang Bao was stunned and looked up. Di Hao Ian, are you talking? It's not me, but a ghost? Di Hao Ian's face darkened. Although it was not a ghost talking, it was scarier than a ghost. Why do you want me to go back to the castle? It's good for my memory recovery. Di Hao Ian gave her a reason. Tang Bao fell silent and did not reply. You better think about it carefully. There won't be another chance like this. Di Hao Ian was irritated by Tang Bao's silence. It was rare for him to take the initiative to speak, but she did not immediately come to him happily. Then, you don't mind what happened between me and Gu Linshan? Tang Bao asked. Di Hao Ian's face darkened. I won't pursue this matter before I recover my memory. But if I find out that you're indecent again, I'll turn the castle into your grave. Tang Bao was so shocked that his hair stood on end. Di Hao Ian was too scary. He did not hesitate to sacrifice the castle to bury her. You have a problem with that? Di Hao Ian's dark eyes were cold. Tang Bao lowered his gaze. You don't mind, but I do. I mind that there's a woman in the castle. Even if he Ju told Wan Malay that Di Hao Ian and Lan Wanru were not intimate, she did not want such a woman to flaunt her power in her territory. As long as she was Di Hao Ian's wife, she had the right to ask for such a thing. There's one more condition. Di Hao Ian smiled coldly. You have a lot of demands. There are two more. Say it. Di Hao Ian did not know why he was giving her so much grace. There was no harm in listening. He wanted to see how presumptuous she could be. Can you give Changxing's company back to him? Tang Bao saw Di Hao Ian's gloomy expression and hurriedly explained, Don't misunderstand. There's really nothing between me and Changxing's President Wang. It's just that his pregnant wife follows him everywhere. She's very pitiful. So, why don't you give the company back to him? Anyway, you don't like such a small company. Go on. One last condition. After I return to the castle, you can't touch me. Get out of here immediately before I lose my patience. Di Hao Ian's face was tense. He suppressed the violence in his heart and said. Tang Bao pursed her lips and held her breath. She grabbed her bag, stood up, and ran out of the private room without hesitation. She closed the door. She was afraid that Di Hao Ian would reach out and grab her. She did not care about He Ju's expression and ran out of the restaurant like a wisp of smoke. Standing by the road, she turned around and did not see Di Hao Ian's figure. Only then did she let out a deep breath. She was scared out of her wits. Tang Bao clutched her stomach. Don't be afraid. Mommy is here. Did Di Hao Ian have to react so strongly? She had already explained it to him. Tang Bao looked blankly at the traffic in the middle of the road and thought. Actually, when Di Hao Ian said that she was moving back to the castle, she did not feel happy at all. She had made so many requests because she did not want to go back. First, she lost her first child in the castle. Second, she was afraid that Di Hao Ian would touch her. The child was too dangerous. It was really lucky that the child was not beaten to death by Di Hao Ian last time. Tang Bao knew that Di Hao Ian would not agree to the 3 requests she made. Chapter 561. The reconciliation that Tang Bao wanted was not this kind of reconciliation. She wanted Di Hao Ian to treat her well, to protect the child in her belly. Tang Bao returned to the Tang family. As soon as she entered the hall, she saw Di Junbai waiting inside. She was stunned for a moment. Di Junbai saw her with a smile on his face. He put down the teacup in his hand and stood up. You're back. Tang Bao felt like she was the guest. She walked forward calmly. Why are you here? I called you, but you didn't answer. I thought something happened to you. Di Junbai said. Then I might not have noticed, Tang Bao said. The servant walked over and asked, Miss Tang, do you want food now? Tang Bao looked at Di Junbai and asked, Have you had dinner? I won't eat here. I still have some things to deal with. I just came to see you. I'm leaving. After Di Junbai said that, he really left. Hearing the sound of the car leaving outside, Tang Bao stood there in a daze for a while. It was even more inconvenient for her to keep Di Junbai here. Perhaps Di Junbai had already seen through her thoughts. In fact, not to mention that it was inconvenient for her to keep Di Junbai here for dinner. Even if Di Junbai walked through the door, she would be scared out of her wits. Therefore, when he first saw Di Junbai here, Tang Bao's first reaction wasn't surprise. Instead, he was so scared that his mind went blank. Because she used to be afraid of Di Haoyan, but now she was even more afraid of Di Haoyan. After all, she had a little guy in her belly. What if Di Haoyan went crazy and hurt the child? Wouldn't she be scared to death? She did not ask Di Junbai to stay. She felt guilty, but she had no choice but to do so. She hoped that Di Junbai would not be angry with her. He had always been so gentle and considerate, hadn't he? Tang Bao turned around and saw that the servant was still standing there respectfully. Come here for a moment. Tang Bao sat down on the sofa. Although she was a little hungry, there were some things she was anxious to say. When a maid was standing in front of her, she said, Will you tell Di Haoyan whenever someone from the Tang family comes to visit? The servant lowered her head and didn't say anything. Silence was a sign of acknowledgement. I know even if you don't tell me. It's not your fault. I know it's Di Haoyan's idea. However, as you can see, my relationship with Di Haoyan isn't very good right now. That's why I returned to the Tang family. However, I hate it when you tell Di Haoyan everything about the Tang family. When Tang Bao saw that the servant did not dare to say a word, he continued, That man just came to see me, but he's just a friend. Although I thought so, others definitely wouldn't believe me if I said it out loud. And if you want to tell Di Haoyan, then I can't keep you here. The servant was shocked and said, Young master told me to stay here and not leave. This is my house, not Di Haoyan's house, understand? I have the right to ask you to leave. Tang Bao felt that this kind of understanding didn't need to be explained. However, because the other party was Di Haoyan, she had to clarify again, I'll ask you one more time. Will you tell Di Haoyan what happened just now? Will you still tell Di Haoyan anything about the Tang family in the future? Think carefully. If you tell him, you can't stay here. Even if you return to the castle, there might not be a place for you. But what if young master asks me, then in the past month or two, has Di Haoyan asked you anything? The servant shook her head. He lost his memory and doesn't remember anything. You don't have to worry about him asking you. As long as you don't say anything, he won't know anything. The servant thought about it seriously and finally nodded in agreement. I understand. Only then was Tang Bao satisfied. If she didn't say so, it wouldn't be long before this servant told the palace about Di Junbai looking for her. At that time, with Di Haoyan's inexplicable possessiveness after losing his memory, he definitely wouldn't let her have an easy time. The longer her period didn't come, the more certain Tang Bao was that she was pregnant. She knew that her feelings couldn't be wrong. She was satisfied with the feeling of nausea, but she had been sleeping extravagantly. She went to bed early at night and woke up late in the morning. After going to the company, she had to take an afternoon nap. She was afraid that Wan Malay would suspect her, so she said that she went to be a thief at night. In any case, she didn't sleep well at night and slept in the office lounge during the day. She hid it very well, so no one doubted her. As for Di Haoyan, she hadn't seen him for almost 10 days after she made such a request. It was safest for her not to appear. Now, her relationship with Di Haoyan was in a stalemate. It was cold to the point of freezing and seemed to be on the verge of breaking out. Tang Bao had nothing to say about this situation, but there was one thing. She hoped that she could come up with a good idea before her belly was discovered. Or perhaps Di Haoyan had already given up on her. T was holding a high-level meeting. The noble and inviolable Di Haoyan was sitting in the position of the highest authority. The higher-ups below were expressing their opinions. They were conveyed through the microphone in front of them. Zhou Jisen pretended to inadvertently glance at Di Haoyan's face. Although Di Hao Ian looked the same as he usually did during a meeting, Zhou Jixin could see that he was distracted. This was very surprising. She had never seen Di Hao Ian distracted during a meeting. It wasn't that the higher-ups said something bad. If it was bad, then Di Hao Ian wouldn't have such a cold expression on his face. Instead, he would exude a fierce aura that made everyone tremble. What was he thinking? Zhou Jixin couldn't tell. He only knew that Di Hao Ian had been a little strange recently. He thought that it would get better, but the more time passed, the gloomier his expression became. It was as if someone had done something to make him unhappy. The meeting ended. After entering the office, Di Hao Ian's expression didn't improve. Zhou Jixin followed him in. "Young master, there's a document here for you to look through." Di Hao Ian took it expressionlessly and opened it. Zhou Jixin stood in front of the desk and waited. "Have you remarried?" Di Hao Ian, who was buried in the document, leaned against the edge of the desk and asked lazily, for such a sudden question about a subordinate's private affairs. Although Zhou Jixin was surprised, he had long been trained to not show his emotions. "Not yet. You've already asked your ex-wife to go to Kuchun to help, and she didn't ask for it?" Di Hao Ian asked casually. "We were supposed to get married this month, but T bought Kuchun, so the company is busy and there's no time." "That's my problem," Di Hao Ian said calmly without a trace of embarrassment. However, Zhou Jixin was also careful in his conversation with Di Hao Ian. "I don't think so." Chapter 562. Then he sat on the black seat. "Who's handling the follow-up of the acquisition of Changsheng?" "Di Junbai. Pass down my orders." "Changsheng is still Changsheng. T doesn't like it. You'll handle this matter." Zhou Jixin immediately understood. Yes. After leaving the office, Zhou Jixin was still in shock. She abandoned Changsheng because she didn't like it. Not to mention he didn't believe this reason. Di Junbai wouldn't believe it either. Could it be related to the Tang Bao? Before he walked to the elevator, the phone on his body rang. He looked at the caller ID and immediately answered, "Young master. Warn Changsheng that there won't be a next time if she gets close to Kuchin again." Yes. When Zhou Jixin took the phone off his ear, he wasn't surprised. It was really as he thought. The acquisition was because of the Tang Bao. The acquisition was also because of her. Then, was Di Hao Ian's mood fluctuating recently because of this? It seemed that even if he forgot about the Tang Bao, his wolf nature was still deeply ingrained. When it was almost 10 o'clock, Di Hao Ian finally returned to the castle. Inside, Lan Wanru was sitting on the sofa and dozing off. It seemed that she was waiting for him. Di Hao Ian looked at Lan Wanru. However, there wasn't a trace of fluctuation in his heart. It was as calm as a mirror. He would only think about whether Lan Wanru's gentle actions towards him were appropriate or not, and he would not feel any heartache. After he lost his memory, he seemed to only have fluctuations in his emotions when it came to Tang Bao, even if it was anger. Only she could arouse his anger. When he wanted to listen to Tang Bao's explanation, Tang Bao didn't want to explain anymore. When she told him about the crystal wolf puppy, he understood that the heartache was definitely not accidental. Tang Bao felt that Wan Malay was telling the truth when she said that she had become soft-hearted. That's what she thought too. In the past, when she was walking on the road, she wouldn't deliberately give money to beggars. She would only give money to beggars when she passed by. But now, whenever Tang Bao saw them from afar, she would walk over and put some money in the beggar's bowl. Tang Bao. Tang Bao paused in the act of throwing the money. He saw the person sitting next to the beggar. It was Luo Luoli. "Loli?" Tang Bao was very surprised. "Why are you here? Let me introduce you. This is my friend, Red 7. Red 7, this is also my friend, Tang Bao." Red 7 reached out and shook Tang Bao's hand. He looked at Tang Bao and said, "You look like a kind person." Tang Bao laughed. It was rare for her to be kind enough to meet a Luo Luoli friend. They went to the dessert shop. Tang Bao and Luo Luoli each ordered a bowl of taro balls to eat. There were all kinds of taro balls inside. They were sweet and delicious. In the past, before I thought of a way to get close to my little uncle, I begged from Red 7, Luo, Lolly said. Tang Bao nodded. Now he understood why Luo Lolly looked like she had just come back from begging when he first saw her. Don't look at Red 7 begging. She's a doctor. It's indeed quite surprising, Tang Bao said with a smile. Everyone's ideals were different, or what they experienced could change a person's thoughts and actions. Therefore, she didn't say anything. Luo Lolly looked at Tang Bao, who was eating dessert, and said, Tang Bao, I'm sorry. Tang Bao, who was eating, was stunned by her. What are you sorry for? About what happened last time? I'm sorry for my little uncle. I'm sorry for what I did. Didn't you already say it on the phone? I didn't take it to heart. You don't have to be like this. Tang Bao forgot about this matter. Even at that time, she only hated Gu Linshan, because Luo Lolly didn't do it on purpose, and Gu Linshan did it maliciously. I'm still angry with my little uncle. He shouldn't have been so bad and said those things to make you and the young master misunderstand each other. And I said those things. I have my difficulties. I didn't tell you on the phone, but I want to tell you now. It's okay. It's okay if you don't say it, Tang Bao said. What I want to say is that you don't even know what happened to me. Luo Lolly's small face was filled with despair. Tang Bao looked at Luo Lolly like this and really couldn't think of what happened. However, Gu Linshan wasn't a good person. Could it be that something terrible and unimaginable had happened? Gu Linshan abused you? Tang Bao was shocked and asked. Yes. Luo Lolly nodded vigorously. He forced me to get a marriage certificate with him. Tang Bao's small mouth was too shocked and didn't close for a long time. You can't believe it either, right? I still can't accept that Gu Linshan and I are legally husband and wife. Luo Lolly was almost crazy. She hugged her head with both hands and had a headache. So, what you said that day was actually to make Gu Linshan choose me so that he could settle the matter with you? Luo Lolly held back her grievance and nodded. Tang Bao sighed deeply. She didn't want to eat dessert anymore and threw the spoon into the bowl. What was all this about? However, Tang Bao was more shocked by Gu Linshan's behavior. When he thought of the relationship between Gu Linshan and Luo Lolly, he couldn't help but ask, Gu Linshan isn't your biological uncle, right? Luo Lolly shook her head. I think so too. At least he's not crazy to that extent. Tang Bao didn't know why he was relieved. Perhaps it was quite scary for this kind of thing to happen to someone close to him. But don't you think that he's crazy now? Luo Lolly asked disapprovingly. Even if he's not biological, he can't treat me like this, right? I can treat him as my biological uncle. I remember you climbed in his bed, right? Tang Bao was referring to the incident where she framed Gu Linshan. I was just pretending. I didn't do it for real, Luo Lolly said, feeling a little guilty. Then did you do something that made him want to get married to you? Tang Bao hinted at her. That can't be right. Luo Lolly thought about it, but couldn't think of what she had done to make Gu Linshan think that way. Then she pointed at her face and asked Wan Malay, do you think a normal man would like a face like mine? Logically speaking, normal women wouldn't like it either. You don't like me? Luo Lolly immediately asked, feeling wronged. Do you think I'm normal? Tang Bao sighed and asked. Luo Lolly thought about it and shook her head slightly. Tang Bao sighed again. Yes, Wan Malay said that about me. I'm helpless. It's not that I have to belittle myself like this. The sweetness in her mouth was gone, and she began to eat the dessert in her bowl. Tang Bao, you've known Gu Linshan for so long. What do you think is wrong with him? Luo Lolly asked. Chapter 563. So, what you're saying is that my attire attracted his attention because it's very unique. That's impossible. The person he likes is you. Luo Lolly was very puzzled. As for Tang Bao, he almost had the taro ball stuck in his throat and died. He cleared his throat and said, Who told you that he likes me? Isn't that the case? Luo Lolly's naivety had a tinge of melancholy. If only he likes me. Then I'll take advantage of his feelings and directly poison him. Tang Bao gritted his teeth. Luo Lolly shrank back. Tang Bao's eyes were so scary. The phone on the table rang. Luo Lolly's phone. When she saw the caller ID, her little face fell. Tang Bao looked at her. Her face was ugly, but it was quite cute. She couldn't figure out why Gu Linshin and Luo Luoli would get married. What was he doing? Anyway, no matter what Gu Linshin was doing, it was fine as long as he didn't implicate her. At this critical juncture, she had to stay away from Gu Linshin, as far away as she could. Tang Bao, I'm going back, Luo Luoli said after hanging up the phone. Tang Bao put down the dessert in her hand and said to Tang Bao meaningfully, if you really can't deal with Gu Linshin, then do nothing. So you're telling me to do nothing first? Then what else do you think you can do? Luo Luoli shook her head. She didn't even have the freedom to eat at Gu Linshin's place. If she said too little or too much, if she didn't eat, then she could forget about treating her nicely. That's right. You won't gain anything by going against Gu Linshin. Luo Luoli felt that Tang Bao's teachings were beneficial. After all, Tang Bao was experienced. Perhaps that was how she dealt with Di Haoyan. And then, Di Haoyan was completely under her control. Luo Luoli took her phone, got on the bus, and staggered to the bus stop. Then, they had to walk a long way to Gu Linshin's mansion. Why must the mansion be so far away from the city? It's not open to traffic yet. He was going to make her walk on 2 legs. Usually, she could take the school bus. Just as she was walking weakly, the phone on her body rang again impatiently. Luo Luoli took a look. It was Gu Linshin again. Hello, Shun. Under Gu Linshin's insistence, she had changed the way she addressed him according to Gu Linshin's preference. You're still not back yet. You walk back. Gu Linshin growled impatiently. Luo Luoli pouted unhappily. Yes, I'm walking back. Who asked your mansion to be so far away from the bus stop? There are no buses here. If I don't walk back, should I fly back? Luo Luoli didn't hear any sound. She couldn't help but feel a little scared. She was throwing a tantrum. Would Gu Linshin lose his temper with her? Just as she was about to explain, the phone call ended. Luo Luoli was stunned. Oh no, Gu Linshin was really angry. She wanted to cry, but no tears came out. If she had known, she wouldn't have said that in such a bad temper. Wasn't it because she was impatient to walk? That was why she said that. Didn't she just get herself into trouble? Not long after, she heard the sound of a car. Was there a car coming here for the first time? She looked up and saw that the car was coming from the direction of the mansion. Was it that Gu Linshin's car? The car stopped in front of her. Gu Linshin got out with a cold expression. He walked up to Luo Luoli and stopped in front of her. He looked down at her with a pair of cold, dark eyes. Are you here to take me back? Luo Luoli thought about her impudent behavior over the phone and immediately smiled. See, I was right, wasn't I? I really did walk back. Don't you know how to take a taxi back? You didn't spend the money you had with you. Return it to me. Gu Linshin's face darkened. When Luo Luoli heard that she had to return the money to Gu Linshin, she hugged her bag tightly and took a few steps back. No, you said that the money was for me. You can't take it back. How can you take it back? Everything I say is reasonable. Gu Linshin was firm. No. She hugged her bag even tighter. Gu Linshin looked at her, and his anger subsided a little. However, he still looked angry. Get in the car. Luo Luoli hugged her bag and climbed into the car. She had to keep an eye out for Gu Linshin to snatch her bag. Gu Linshin looked at her coldly. Couldn't he tell what Luo Luoli was thinking? If he really wanted to take back her money, would he need to snatch her bag and take her card? Wouldn't he just cancel it? When they arrived at the mansion and got out of the car, Gu Linshin said directly, from today onwards, you will be given a car. Huh? You don't want it? Why do you want to give me a car? Luo Luoli thought that if she was given a car, she wouldn't even have the freedom to take a bus or a taxi. No, to be more precise, the driver was Gu Linshin's man and would be watching her at all times. This couldn't happen. It wasn't like she was running her own company and had her own driver like the Tang Bao. I don't want a car. Next time, I will take a taxi and not take the bus. Luo Luoli quickly refused. Why not? Gu Linshin's expression turned cold. That would be too ostentatious. Luo Luoli didn't tell the truth. You're Mrs. Gu now. It's not too much to give you a plane, Gu Linshin said with a cold smile. Luo Luoli opened her mouth in shock. She was afraid that Gu Linshin would really give her a plane. I live in D City. A plane is a waste of my talent. And I'm serious. I don't need a car. I prefer to take a taxi. Mrs. Gu now? Her title of Mrs. Gu might disappear at any time. She would work hard in this direction. She didn't want to be Gu Linshan's Mrs. Gu. Seriously, she was still angry with Gu Linshan. Why was she always at a disadvantage when it came to matters? Gu Linshan looked at her sharply. You don't want to give you a car. What are you going to do behind my back? What did you do just now? I want to see the Tang Bao. It's all your fault that the Tang Bao and the young master are in this state. Shouldn't I go and comfort her and apologize to her? Luo Luoli said unhappily. Gu Linshan's expression immediately changed. Who told you to apologize? Luo Luoli was angry. I went by myself. Can't I do that? I don't understand why you did that. Do you feel comfortable seeing the Tang Bao and the young master like this? If you like the Tang Bao, marry me. Even if the Tang Bao likes you, he won't dare to say it out loud. Chapter 564. Anyway, you're the most ridiculous one. Luo Luoli said angrily and turned around to go back into the house. Gu Linshan stood there with an ugly expression on his face. Recently, she had been pulling a long face with him, and he had been indulging her. Now, she was getting more and more arrogant. Gu Linshan had always been like this. If he didn't like someone, he would use underhanded means. Whether he used heavy means or light means depended on his mood. That was how it was between him and Di Haoyan. If he didn't like someone, he would go against Di Haoyan. Now, Luo Luoli didn't like him. If it weren't for the fact that she was about to take her college entrance examination, he would have made sure that she wouldn't be able to get out of bed for a few days. Luo Luoli ran back into the room and saw the exquisite gift boxes on the bed. She went forward and opened them one by one. There was a beautiful dress, shoes, and jewelry. They were all matching styles. She could imagine how beautiful and attractive they would look on her body. But why were these things on her bed? Luo Luoli ran out of the room and saw Gu Linshan going upstairs. She ran over. Little uncle, Luo Luoli called out as soon as she opened her mouth because she was anxious. It was too late when she realized that she had called him wrongly. Most importantly, Gu Linshan didn't change his expression. You seem like calling me that. Then you can call me that from now on. Luo Luoli thought to herself. Why was Gu Linshan so generous? Why can I call you that now? Gu Linshan stepped forward and approached Luo Luoli step by step. Luo Luoli stepped back in fear. She paused, and her back was pressed against the hard wall. Gu Linshan was still pressing against her. Luo Luoli reached out her small hand and supported herself on Gu Linshan's chest. The hardness and heat made her arms weak, but she still held on with her willpower and strength, afraid that if she lost focus, Gu Linshan would get even closer to her. Gu Linshan's thin lips landed beside Luo Luoli's ear. His voice was low and pleasant. Because when I think of you calling me that in bed in the future, I feel very excited. I can't wait to do something now. Luo Luoli could not believe that Gu Linshan was such a pervert. Gu Linshan had forcibly taken away the images in her mind. Thinking that she would really scream like that at such a time, her ears burned. Lolita, are you shy? Gu Linshan's voice was devilish. Of course not. No, I won't do that with you. Which one? Luo Luoli didn't want to discuss which one it was, but Gu Linshan was asking the obvious. Stay away from me. Luo Luoli lowered her head, unwilling to face him. She used her hand to support Gu Linshan's chest. She felt that she could not hold on any longer. Gu Linshan looked at her and thought to himself, if I really wanted to eat you with your strength. But thinking that he still had things to do later, he slowly let go of her and took a step back. It was not as close as before, but it was not far away either. The pressure was still as strong. Do you need something from me? Luo Luoli came back to her senses. Yes. The thing on the bed. What do you mean? You didn't buy me clothes again, did you? Go back to the Gu family for dinner tonight. What? The Gu family? Your family? Luo Luoli asked slowly. An ugly daughter-in-law has to meet her parents-in-law. What do you think? Gu Linshan asked calmly. Luo Luoli could not believe Gu Linshan's logic. She immediately became angry. Why are you doing this? We can't let old Master Gu know. He knows even if he doesn't want to know. It's not like he didn't see the news. Luo Luoli didn't know about the news. Even she had seen it. Her close family must have known. But Luo Meiwan did not seem to know. Luo Luoli knew that Luo Meiwan did not read the news. Even if the news popped up on her phone, she would not read it and would just ignore it. But old Master Gu was different. After all, he ran a company. What kind of news would he not know? Should she be glad that old Master Gu did not know about her marriage with Gu Linshan? That news. You didn't do it on purpose, right? Luo Luoli thought of something and looked suspiciously at Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan's eyes immediately turned cold. Say that again. Luo Luoli pursed her lips, indicating that she would not say anything. Go in and change. Gu Linshan felt that his patience was getting worse by the day. Luo Luoli stood there motionless. Do you want me to help you change? Luo Luoli's body trembled. She turned around and ran to her room. She did not want Gu Linshan to change. Wouldn't that mean that he had seen everything? Gu Linshan watched as Luo Luoli ran away. He thought about the news. It had been found out long ago. It was that teacher, Wang Yace's doing. She caught him kissing Luo Luoli. She had seen through his abnormal relationship with Luo Luoli. That was why she wanted to take revenge. Take revenge on him? She was courting death. After Luo Luoli got dressed, she looked at herself in the mirror. She looked very beautiful. But when she thought about how she was wearing this to go to the Gu family, her mood immediately became very bad. Old Master Gu did not like Luo Meiwan, and she was Luo Meijuan's only daughter. She did not know if she would be more embarrassed or if old Master Gu would be more devastated. After getting into the car drove away from the mansion and headed to the Gu family. Along the way, Luo Luoli was very nervous. She looked out the car window and then looked at Gu Linshan. I'm here. What are you nervous about? Gu Linshan comforted her. It's okay if old Master Gu knows about the news. We can explain it later. Please don't tell him that we have already registered our marriage. I know what to do. Gu Linshan said as he looked out of the car window. Luo Luoli heaved a sigh of relief. After arriving at the Gu family, Luo Luoli looked around the villa. She remembered that Luo Meiwan had told her that she had been here when she was young. But looking around, she did not have any memories. Only strangeness. After all, it had been a long time. It was normal that she could not remember. When Gu Linshan looked over, Luo Luoli immediately jogged to catch up with him. Gu Linshan stopped in his tracks. His dark eyes focused on Luo Luoli. What's wrong? Is there something on my face? Luo Luoli asked. No, your collar is a little messy. Huh? Just as Luo Luoli was about to straighten her collar, Gu Linshan reached out his hand first and helped her straighten her collar. This was the Gu family's house. It was not the mansion she had lived in before. I'll do it myself. Luo Luoli wanted to avoid him. Don't move. Gu Linshan's voice was stern. Luo Luoli did not dare to move. She stood there and let Gu Linshan tidy her collar. Her bright eyes were darting around, as if she was afraid that someone would see. If I kiss you now, will you still be nervous? Although Gu Linshan was tidying Luo Luoli's collar, his eyes were fixed on her. What? Luo Luoli was shocked. Don't kiss me. Chapter 565. It was too scary. Gu Linshan didn't really want to kiss her. When he saw that Luo Luoli was no longer as nervous as before, he turned and walked out of the room. Luo Luoli thought of something and hugged Gu Linshan's arm. She wanted to hang herself on Gu Linshan. Fortunately, Gu Linshan was a strong and sturdy man. If he wasn't strong enough, he would have staggered. You want to kiss me? Gu Linshan's eyes darkened and he lowered his head slightly. What kiss? I don't want to kiss you. Luo Luoli lowered her voice and shrank her head back. You haven't told me what I should call old Master Gu later. Gu Linshan said, whatever you want to call him. Whatever I want to call him. You can call him whatever you think will make you happy. Gu Linshan said this to appease her nervous heart. Luo Luoli nodded thoughtfully. After entering the living room, Luo Luoli immediately saw old Master Gu sitting on the sofa in the living room. She knew old Master Gu, so her heart immediately tightened. The only person she could rely on now was Gu Linshin, whom she usually didn't want to rely on. She had no choice. She wasn't familiar with the Gu family. It was fine if she wasn't familiar with them, but she was wary of Old Master Gu. When Luo Loli saw the look in Old Master Gu's eyes, she did not carefully interpret Old Master Gu's sudden, dumbfounded expression. She immediately bowed deeply and called out in a crisp voice, "Grandfather." Gu Linshin, who was walking in front, kicked the leg of the coffee table and sat down on the sofa with a normal expression. Old Master Gu hadn't recovered from the shock of seeing Luo Luoli's frightening appearance. When he heard Luo Luoli call him that, his expression became even uglier. Grandfather? He would never acknowledge Luo Meiwan, let alone her daughter. He didn't expect Luo Meijuan's daughter to be so ugly. Why did he remember that she was very cute when she was young? Old Master Gu's mood worsened when he realized that he still remembered something from so long ago. But Gu Linshin was here, so he couldn't do anything. "Can't you hear her?" Gu Linshin asked Old Master Gu, who was sitting opposite him. "Does this sound like something your son would say?" Old Master Gu was furious. "If you don't want to, I can take her away now," Gu Linshin said frankly. That's right. Gu Linshin was not afraid of a piece of news at all, but some things were troublesome if they were not resolved. Therefore, she brought Luo Luoli back to the Gu family. It was only a matter of time. Old Master Gu had never been able to control Gu Linshin, and even had to give in to his whims. However, when he thought of his purpose today, he restrained himself. "Why are you standing there?" Old Master Gu glanced at Luo Luoli and asked. Luo Luoli immediately said, "Thank you, Grandpa." She sat down after thanking him. Old Master Gu didn't know what to say, but he restrained himself. Luo Luoli sat down next to Gu Linshin, her two small hands placed on her knees. She took deep breaths to adjust her emotions. Old Master Gu looked at Luo Luoli again. He naturally knew about the news on the internet. After he found out, he immediately called Gu Linshin to confirm the matter. Gu Linshin didn't say yes or no, and only said that he would bring Luo Luoli back to the Gu family for dinner. He even threatened him over the phone not to make things difficult for Luo Luoli, otherwise, with his temper, no one would have a good time. If Old Master Gu didn't know his son's temper, he would have lost his temper long ago. At first, he was very uneasy about the news, but now that he saw her, he felt that perhaps his worries were groundless. Luo Luoli's appearance was really hard to look straight at. Just looking at her made one's eyes hurt. Not only was she ugly, but was her hairstyle bomb-proof? Therefore, Old Master Gu had originally planned to find a time to properly question his son, but now he only said, "It's better not to make groundless accusations. Deal with what needs to be dealt with. It will damage your image." Luo Luoli sat obediently at the side, thinking that this groundless accusations was referring to the news about her and Gu Linshin. As the female lead, she remained silent. She didn't dare to speak. She secretly turned her gaze to Gu Linshin. Gu Linshin didn't say anything. It was as if what Old Master Gu said had nothing to do with him. Instead, he raised his hand to look at his watch and asked impatiently, "Is it time for dinner?" "Waiting for someone," Old Master Gu said. Gu Linshin frowned imperceptibly. "Sorry, there was a traffic jam on the road, so I'm late." "Sorry." Lin Xiangting, who was elegantly dressed, walked in. "Uncle Gu, sorry to keep you waiting." "No, you're just on time. I thought that it was rare for Linshin to come back, so I invited you to have dinner together. I didn't tell you in advance, so it's normal that you're late." Old Master Gu talked about his son, but didn't introduce Luo Luoli. However, Lin Xiangting didn't ignore Luo Luoli and took the initiative to greet her. "Long time no see, Luo Luoli." Luo Luoli smiled. "Hello." Lin Xiangting immediately turned her gaze to Gu Linshin. From the moment she walked in, he didn't even give her a glance. "Linshin, you don't mind that I'm here for dinner, do you?" Lin Xiangting asked with a gentle smile on her face. Gu Linshin still didn't look at her. He looked coldly at Old Master Gu, who was sitting opposite him. Old Master Gu's eyes flashed under the pressure. "Why would I? I don't have any objections if you want to come over for dinner," Gu Linshin said to Lin Xiangting. When Lin Xianting heard this, she was so happy that she couldn't suppress her happiness. Okay, let's go into the dining room. After entering the dining room, Luo Luoli was about to sit in the same row as Lin Xianting. However, her wrist was grabbed by Gu Linxin and she was pulled to the seat next to him expressionlessly. Luo Luoli fell directly into her seat. Everyone else saw Gu Linxin's domineering behavior. Old Master Gu's expression was very ugly. Lin Xianting's expression was also very stiff, but she tried her best to maintain her elegance. The news on the internet suddenly jumped into her mind. It seemed that Gu Linxin would kiss Luo Luoli regardless of the occasion outside. She wondered what he was like at home, where no one else could see. He might have done even more intimate things. When she thought about how Luo Luoli was now an adult, the jealousy in Lin Xianting's heart almost burned her insides. Why did it have to be her? If it wasn't for her appearance, her marriage with Gu Linxin would have been a matter of course. The meal lasted less than 10 minutes. Old Master Gu said, "By the way, Linxin, you're not young anymore. I think it's better to settle the marriage I mentioned to you as soon as possible. I don't think it's possible for you to set your mind on it. So, I've decided to let you and Xianting get married next month." Gu Linxin's expression didn't change at all. Chapter 566. If that was the case, wouldn't Gu Linxin have to divorce her first? Just as she was trying to suppress her excitement, Gu Linxin slowly wiped the corner of his mouth with a napkin and said, "I'm afraid not." "Why not?" "I'm telling you, you have to do what I say today, even if you don't want to. If you don't get married, I'll let you do whatever you want." Old Master Gu had already made up his mind. No matter how Gu Linxin refused, he had to force him to do it. "Didn't you say that as long as I get married, I can marry anyone?" Gu Linxin said calmly. The more Luo Luoli listened, the more she felt that something was wrong. After Gu Linxin said that, she had a bad feeling and her hair stood on end. "I did say that, but you haven't done anything yet." "Who said I haven't? I'm already married," Gu Linxin said calmly. "Married?" Old Master Gu was surprised. Lin Xianting's expression was not only surprised, but also a myriad of emotions. As for Luo Luoli, she could no longer eat. Her bright eyes were filled with fear. Some things wouldn't have happened if she hadn't been afraid. "Luoli, you shouldn't call him grandfather. What should I call him? Wouldn't that mess up the seniority?" "Call me father," Gu Linxin said to Luo Luoli as he turned his head. Luo Luoli trembled and the chopsticks in her hand fell to the ground. Old Master Gu and Lin Xianting both looked at Luo Luoli, who was in a daze. They didn't seem to understand Gu Linxin's words for a moment. After a while, Old Master Gu slammed the table and stood up. He pointed at Gu Linxin and said, "What did you mean by what you said just now? Explain it clearly." "I think that with your intelligence, you should be able to understand," Gu Linxin said calmly. Old Master Gu was trembling so hard that he couldn't speak. Lin Xianting couldn't believe what she had heard. Her eyes were filled with sadness as she tried to correct Gu Linxin. "Linxin, how could you do this? Is Lolita your niece?" Gu Linxin looked at Lin Xianting coldly. "She used to be my niece, but now she's my wife. Let's go, Loli." Luo Luoli trembled again. She no longer dared to look at Old Master Gu and Lin Xianting's faces. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. Therefore, when she heard Gu Linxin calling her that, she followed Gu Linxin out of the restaurant. "Gu Linxin, stop right there." Old Master Gu was furious. However, Gu Linxin did not even turn his head. Luo Luoli didn't even dare to look back. They went outside. The car door opened. Just as Gu Linxin was about to get in, Luo Luoli got in first. Gu Linxin paused for a moment, then got in the car. The car door closed and left the Gu residence. "Little uncle, you did this on purpose." Luo Luoli raised her head. "What on purpose? You didn't bring me home to eat. You brought me home to tell Old Master Gu about our marriage." Luo Luoli said angrily. "What's the problem?" Luo Luoli couldn't believe how calm he was. "There's a big problem." "Why did you tell Old Master Gu about our marriage?" "I had to tell him sooner or later." What do you mean sooner or later? No, I won't marry you. There's no point in getting a marriage certificate. I want a divorce. Divorce. Luo Luoli was so angry that she wanted to jump out of the car. The marriage certificate is gone. We can get a new one. We can get a divorce after that. You've done your homework. Gu Linshin looked at her coldly. Why don't we get a new one now? You see, you don't want to ruin your relationship with old Master Gu, right? It'll be awkward, right? I don't care. You don't care, but I care. What's wrong with this? Your niece has become your wife. You're a pervert. Luo Luoli was so anxious that she couldn't think straight. After he finished speaking, Gu Linshin looked at Luo Luoli coldly. Then he pounced on her like a wolf. Ah! Luo Luoli was caught off guard and couldn't react in time. Before she knew it, Gu Linshin had already pressed her under his body. Ah, Gu Linshin, what are you doing? At this time, you should call him little uncle. Gu Linshin reminded her as he pinched her delicate chin. Luo Luoli was horrified when she thought of how Gu Linshin would react. Even the glue on her face couldn't hide it. Gu Linshin, let go of me. Luo Luoli wanted to kick him, but Gu Linshin was so strong that she couldn't control her legs. Didn't you say that I'm a pervert? Do you believe that I'll make you take the college entrance exam in bed? Exclamation point. Luo Luoli widened her eyes. Only I can bring up the word divorce. Do you understand? The next time I hear you mention the word divorce, I'll show you how perverted I am. Gu Linshin's breath blew on Luo Luoli's face. His threat was obvious. Then, when will you bring it up? I've never thought about it. Gu Linshin saw that she was obedient and let go of her. He sat back in his seat and looked at her with an unfathomable gaze. After Luo Luoli was released, she felt better. She pouted and said, I know why you insist on marrying me. You want to use me as a shield. If you do that, old Master Gu won't be able to matchmake you and Lin Shanting. So what if that's the case? Gu Linshin said nonchalantly, You're too selfish. You should have asked for my permission. Luo Luoli felt wronged. Her bright eyes were filled with tears. She was even angrier when she heard Gu Linshin's careless reply. How could he treat her like this? Why didn't he just find someone to marry on the streets? Gu Linshin looked at the tears in Luo Luoli's eyes. He was stunned for a moment. His emotions were stirred and his expression softened. But he would never divorce Luo Luoli just because she cried. Gu Linshin didn't like to have physical contact with women. He didn't have the experience of comforting women. Thus, when Luo Luoli's tears fell, Gu Linshin pulled Luo Luoli over in a domineering manner. He kissed Luo Luoli's pouting lips and devoured them. Luo Luoli's head buzzed. She was still crying. How did this person kiss her? She came back to her senses and immediately struggled. However, Gu Linshin grabbed her hands and pinned them behind her back like a pair of iron pincers. MMPH. Luo Luoli kicked the car door. She kicked the car door so hard that it made loud banging sounds. Gu Linshin's eyes darkened. He pressed her against the car door. The car had already stopped and was waiting for the traffic lights. There were so many pedestrians. If the car windows weren't tinted, they would have been able to see the exciting scene inside. Chapter 567. Luo Luoli wanted to kick him again, but she suddenly felt that something was wrong. Luo Luoli widened her beautiful eyes in shock. At this moment, she was wearing a short skirt, and she was still kicking her legs like a fool. Wouldn't it be easier to kick her legs? What was Gu Linshin doing? When Gu Linshin let go of her, Luo Luoli was already paralyzed in her seat, her legs trembling nonstop. One could imagine what she had gone through just now. Luo Luoli's mind was blank. There were tears in her eyes, but they were no longer tears of grievance. Just now, Gu Linshin let go of her hands and pinched her chin. He looked at her rosy lips and asked, Does it feel good? Luo Luoli looked at him in a daze. Her breathing was rapid, and she had not calmed down yet. If we do it for real, it will feel even better. Gu Linshin's voice was hoarse, and his breathing seemed to be even hotter. Luo Luoli's mind gradually became clear. Of course, she understood what he meant. She turned her gaze away in shame. Gu Linshin noticed her expression. His cold eyes were gentle and wolfish. Don't worry, I won't touch you now. But if you provoke me one day, and I can't help it, it might be different. After he finished speaking, he stared at Luo Lawley's little face and sat back in his seat. Luo Lawley immediately sat up straight, straightened her messy skirt, and swung her legs properly. It was as if it would be scary if she did not do so. She still could not believe what she had felt just now. It was a feeling she had never felt before, but she knew what it was. She was already an adult. She knew. She did not know how to resist at all. She was controlled by Gu Linshan. She really wanted to cry, but she could not. She was clearly questioning Gu Linshan and felt very wronged. But now, her body was still trembling. It was as if she had just experienced something she could not bear. Yes, she really couldn't take it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have cried. And Gu Linshan said that if they really did it, it would be even more. Luo Loli felt that marriage was a very scary thing. Would she really be raped by Gu Linshan one day? After returning home, Luo Loli did not speak to Gu Linshan. She went straight to her room. Gu Linshan looked at the person who was running away in a panic. He didn't stop her. Instead, he looked at her slender figure and snow white, slender legs and thought about how they had felt in the car. The heat that had made him calm down with great difficulty rushed straight up again. Gu Linshan's face tightened. He turned and went into the study. Luo Luoli woke up the next morning and went downstairs. She saw Gu Linshan in the hall. Recalling what had happened yesterday, his complexion turned unnatural. "I'll take you to school," Gu Linshan said when he saw her. There's no need." Gu Linshan looked at her indifferently. His gaze said that she had to use his help even if she didn't need it. Hence, after breakfast, Luo Loli got into Gu Linshan's car and went straight to school. If it had been any other time in the car, Luo Loli would have had a lot to say. But now, she just stared out of the car window. It was as if there was something special outside the car window that attracted her. When they arrived at school, Luo Loli got out of the car without saying a word and ran straight to school. Luo Loli didn't have much energy at school for the whole day. She had never thought that her relationship with Gu Linshan would develop to such a stage. During class, she was easily distracted and thought about what had happened in the car. She even had a dream that night that she shouldn't have. That dream was much worse than what had happened in the car. She had been naked in front of Gu Linshan. Luo Loli broke down and screamed. She ran to the sink and splashed her face with cold water, trying to wake herself up. She looked at herself in the mirror. What the hell was going on? Why did she have to keep thinking about that? Wasn't it? It was clearly it. What should she do? Luo Loli, who was very conflicted, wandered to the streets in the afternoon. As she walked, she wandered aimlessly. She felt that she was really going crazy now. To be honest, she didn't even dare to look at Gu Linshan now. She felt that Gu Linshan was 10 times scarier than before. What a coincidence, Luoli. Luo Loli snapped out of her daze and realized that Lin Xiangting had already walked up to her. "You are here to buy books?" She had bumped into her when she went to the bookstore last time. This place wasn't far from the bookstore, so she could only guess. "No, I'm just passing by." Lin Xiangting looked Luo Loli up and down and asked, "Have you eaten?" "Not yet." Luo Loli wasn't in the mood to eat. "That's good. I haven't eaten either. Let's go eat together." "I'm not going. I don't really feel like eating." Luo Loli thought of what had happened to the Gu family yesterday. She was Gu Linshan's wife now. The Gu family, including Lin Xiangting, knew about it. She had left with her head in the sand yesterday, and now she bumped into Lin Xiangting, who wanted to eat with her. Of course, she didn't want to go. Actually, eating is secondary. The main thing is that I want to talk to you about something. After arriving at the restaurant, the two of them sat down. The waiter brought 2 menus for them to order. After Lin Xiangting ordered a few dishes, she called the waiter over. "We've already ordered." Then she handed the menus to the waiter. Luo Loli's hand that was holding the menu stiffened. She directly handed the menu back to the waiter. She hadn't even ordered a single dish. What did Lin Xiangting mean by this? Of course, she didn't mean that she wanted to eat with her. It was just that she felt very uncomfortable. Or was this the reason why eating was secondary? What do you want to talk to me about? Luo Luoli didn't want to eat in the first place, but she had been dragged here by Lin Xiangting. Now she had even less appetite. Did you really get married to Gu Linshan? Lin Xiangting asked. She didn't look like she was joking at all. Luo Luoli had already guessed what she was going to ask. It wasn't like she couldn't tell that Lin Xiangting liked Gu Linshan and wanted to marry Gu Linshan. Yes. Luo Luoli nodded. Then do you think you're good enough for Gu Linshan? Lin Xiangting smiled sarcastically. In the past, she had pretended to be a good person in front of Luo Luoli. Now she didn't even want to pretend. Luo Luoli was stunned by her attitude, but she didn't get angry because of her words. Why am I not good enough for him? Luo Luoli just wanted to know why Lin Xiangting said that. Chapter 568. Loli Luo's face was instantly filled with anger. How could this woman say something like that? I know that I'm being too blunt, but I'm telling the truth. I really didn't expect you to be so thick-skinned as to marry Gu Linshan. I advise you to get a divorce before Gu Linshan can't stand you anymore. Otherwise, you'll become ugly. Lin Xiangting didn't care about the vicious words she had just said. When she found out that Luo Luoli and Gu Linshan were married, she almost went crazy. Now that she saw the anger on Luo Luoli's face, jealousy eased a little, but she still couldn't accept it. Why did Gu Linshan like such an ugly woman like Luo Luoli? She was much more outstanding than Luo Luoli. Luo Luoli couldn't compare to her at all. Why didn't Gu Linshan give her a chance? He didn't even look at her. Actually, I don't understand either. Luo Luoli suppressed the anger in her heart and said, What don't you understand? Lin Xiangting was stunned by her words. I don't understand why Gu Linshan married me when I'm so ugly, but Gu Linshan didn't even look at you when you're so beautiful. I know, it's because you're too ugly on the inside. You know that Gu Linshan is very smart. It's impossible for him not to see your ugliness. Lin Xiangting didn't expect Luo Luoli to counterattack so beautifully. Her expression was ugly and ferocious. But she was a strong woman in the business world. She wouldn't be defeated by a little girl. You're so thick-skinned. No wonder your mother wasn't accepted by the Gu family. She must be a shameless woman. As for you surpassing your master, I can understand that. Please don't implicate my family. Luo Luoli was so angry that her breathing became unstable. She glared at her coldly. Am I wrong? I'm telling the truth. Did I make you unhappy? I'm very sorry. You're the disgusting one. No wonder Gu Linshan doesn't like you. I don't think any man will want an old woman like you. Luo Luoli scolded angrily. Then she stood up and left. Lin Xiangting was so angry that her whole body trembled. She couldn't wait to kill Luo Luoli to vent her anger. Luo Luoli rushed back to school angrily. She was in a terrible mood when she saw Lin Xiangting. Was she willing to marry Gu? She wasn't willing. She was forced. It was all Gu Linshan's fault. If he hadn't forced himself on her, Lin Xiangting wouldn't have said those humiliating words. In the afternoon, the teacher, Luo Luoli looked at the application form. There were so Luo. Oh, just as she was worrying about it. I want to get into this school. I want to get into this school too, but this is a foreign city. It's too far from my home. Isn't it normal to go to a foreign university? It's not like you can't come back. That's true. Her classmates were chattering. This gave Luo Luoli a lot of inspiration. That's right. Why was she so conflicted? She could just go to a foreign university. Then she wouldn't have to face Gu Linshan every day. Luo Luoli felt a lot more relaxed when she thought of this. She just didn't know how to tell Luo Meiwan. She wasn't asking for Luo Meijuan's approval now. She had to convince Luo Meiwan to accept her. On the day, Luo Luoli went to Luo Meijuan's place. During dinner, Luo Luoli looked at Luo Meiwan and thought about how to start the conversation. What's wrong? Do you have something to tell me? How could Luo Meiwan not know that she was her daughter? Mom, the teacher asked me to fill out the application form today. Luo Luoli stood up, opened her school bag, took out the form inside, and handed it to Luo Meiwan. Luo Meiwan was stunned when he saw the schools Luo Luoli chose. He asked, Why are they all in foreign cities? I think I won't be able to get into a university in D-City. Luo Luoli lied to cover it up. You won't be able to get into any of them? Luo Meiwan was a little disappointed. Not all the universities in D-City have high passing scores, but I don't want to go to the ones with low passing scores. Luo Luoli felt that she couldn't achieve high or low passing scores. She knew Luo Meijuan's thoughts and immediately comforted her. Mom, it's okay. I'll be back on Sundays. It'll be the same as it is now. I'm staying at Uncle's place now. It's the same as being in a foreign city. How can it be the same? No matter what, you're still in D-City. I'll always think of you by my side. Forget it. As long as you're happy, it's fine. You have to be careful when you're outside. On this side, it's basically your little uncle who's looking after you. This is good too. It's not good for you to always stay at his place. Luo Meiwan had said that she would move out of Gu Linshin's place last time, but she hadn't. Luo Luoli had found it strange and found a random reason to brush it off. Mom, I'm sorry. Don't worry. I'll be back every Sunday. Luo Luoli was really afraid that Luo Meiwan would feel bad. Luo Meiwan saw that she couldn't bear to see her like this and smiled. Don't worry about me. Think about it. You'll get married in the future. After you get married, won't I still have to live the same life? If I can't stand being separated now, what will I do in the future? Luo Luoli was stunned. Then, the chopsticks in her hand fell to the ground. What's wrong? Luo Meiwan asked. Nothing. Luo Luoli hurriedly bent down to pick up the chopsticks. Only under the table did she show the pain on her face. Mom, what future? I'm already married now. If it weren't for your despicable brother, we wouldn't have to be separated at all. Luo Luoli picked up the chopsticks with a calm face. Go back and tell your uncle about this, Luo Meiwan said. Okay. Luo Luoli agreed obediently. She thought to herself, I won't tell him. When the holidays come, I'll just leave. After Luo Luoli went back, she naturally got on the bus. After getting on, she remembered that she should take a taxi back. Otherwise, she would have to walk a long way. Forget it. When the time came, she would just tell Gu Linshin that she stayed at her mother's place for a long time. After getting off the bus stop, he saw another new bus parked there. The driver got off the bus and walked in front of Luo Luoli. Are you getting on now? Young Master Gu said that this bus goes directly to the mansion. That way, you don't have to walk. Was there anything that made her more speechless than this? Gu Linshin actually bought a bus and parked it here just to pick her up. When she got back, she saw Gu Linshin smoking in the hall. She walked up and asked, Why did you park a bus at the bus stop? I thought you didn't like private cars following you? Gu Linshin asked without looking up. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.